Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zachy and Brian are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to a movie film commentary track. My name is Zachy Hassan, and I'm here with my partner in this dynamic duo, Brian Hall.
Hey, good morning.
So we are here to celebrate the 10th anniversary of The Dark Knight.
That's something I'm not even sure what to think about what that means. 10 years, is that a lot? Is it not as much as it feels? I don't know. I mean, this movie feels like it was a classic at the moment it came out.
It was. I agree with that, and I think that, especially now, we're just soaking in comic book superhero movies. Mm-hmm. I think even still, The Dark Knight, not even necessarily the trilogy, but The Dark Knight, still is considered as right there in the very top. It's cream of the crop.
Yes,
if
agreed.
not the best, top 5.
Oh yeah, easily.
And I think that's something I'm really looking forward to picking apart with you in this commentary track because it really is a special movie, and I think it illustrates a lot about the enduring appeal of these characters and how you can have these very distinctive depictions. I mean, this came roughly 20 years after the previous time, Batman fought the Joker on the big screen. Mm-hmm. And the two versions are as different can be. Mm-hmm. And yet they're both equally definitive.
Yeah. At least now. I remember at the time people were like, well, that movie's done. I don't like that movie anymore. I remember those kind of conversations.
Yeah.
And that always happens. And then with time, you're like, oh, yeah, we can live with both.
What a concept. We get 2 Christmases. I visit Mom and Dad.
Right.
So with that in mind, we've got the movie queued up, 2 hours and 32 minutes of it.
Buckle up.
Buckle up.
Or I should say, we'll enjoy spending the next 5 days with you on your drive to work.
Fair enough. There we go. Yeah. So we're queued up and ready to go. And I don't know. I'm ready. Brian, you ready?
I'm ready.
So we'll do the usual thing. I'm gonna count down. No, count up. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, and we'll play on 3.
Cool.
So here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Play. And here we go. Now, I remember the nice thing about when The Dark Knight happened is that all of the legwork had already been done in Batman Begins.
Yes. And that was such an interesting movie because we had never really seen that story before. Not on the big screen.
Not in that way.
Like, what I really loved about that was seeing Batman without his costume, and leaping from rooftop to rooftop and not being good at it.
Yeah.
So that was such a moment when that movie happened for me. Like, oh, well, this is what a Batman movie could be. It's not like he's just an expert in everything and has a gadget for everything. I mean, these movies sought to explain how he became Batman in a way that was sort of realistic. I mean, was what Nolan was at least more than halfway aiming for, right?
Yeah, I think he has said this, that his pitch to Warner Brothers when he went to make these movies was he said, I want to do for Batman what Dick Donner did for Superman. And that's somewhat ironic because, certainly for me as a 10-year-old when I saw the 89 Batman, which I liked, my first thought was, that's cool, but I wanted to see how he becomes Batman. I wanted to see him train, and so clearly Chris Nolan had that same idea. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that we got a movie devoted entirely to that was compelling and quite good all on its own, that then allowed you to jump right into the sequel in a way where we didn't skip a beat. I really like that. I like that they did hold their fire with the Joker.
Yeah. And it's interesting too because this movie, as I'm just looking at it right now, I mean, Nolan has been very vocal about saying what a huge fan he is of the film Heat.
And you can just see it.
It's
all
obvious.
Over.
In the best ways.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is I'm looking at this right now, and the Joker and his thugs and this bank in the Chicago streets. I mean, this doesn't look like a superhero movie. I mean, this could be like a mobster movie. And it's interesting because Batman Begins did have a little bit of a stylized aesthetic to it.
It did, yeah.
That one I remember him saying he was going for Blade Runner. There's a lot more miniatures. The movie's kind of brown. It has a hue to it. And this one feels like supernatural through and through. Not supernatural, I mean
super
natural,
like natural.
Real world. Yeah.
Super dash natural, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, but remember this sequence was
they previewed this, right,
in IMAX theaters before the film I Am Legend.
That's right.
I want to say maybe November 2017, that Will Smith zombie
2007,
movie.
You mean?
Oh, I'm sorry, 2007, yeah. And,
time moves in a linear fashion, Brian.
Yeah. I remember it just being mind-blowing. And all I was thinking about, even when that movie was over, I just wanted to watch this again.
Oh, sure.
I mean, this has to be one of the great openings of a film ever.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's so... It's like this weird puzzle, and things keep unfolding, and these thugs keep taking each other out, and you're like, what is happening? What's the plan?
Yeah. And by the way, I love that you can have an actor like William Fichtner in here.
Yeah.
For a second, right? And,
yeah.
And, he's one of these guys who he has instant credibility.
Yes.
And that says something about what Nolan was able to do, not just in this film, but in the one before and the one after, is he could get people to walk in and walk off because he himself was perceived as being such a master of the form.
Mm-hmm.
People wanted to be a part of this experience.
And I read somewhere that they had reached out to Dwight Yoakam for that part.
No kidding.
And I was like, I can see that. Yeah.
Me too.
But yeah, William Fichtner is awesome here. And what's interesting too? Are you watching the Blu-ray?
I'm not. I'm watching a digital download on my tablet.
Now, are you seeing, what's the frame, the aspect
ratio? The aspect ratio doesn't flip back and forth on the digital copy. It does on the Blu-ray, though. Yeah,
I'm watching the Blu-ray, and I had forgotten until it started. Yeah, it's interesting, because this was the first feature film to be shot in IMAX, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And I think it was about 37 minutes of IMAX. So this was like a whole new thing, I will drive out of my way and pay extra money to go see this movie to the fullest.
Yeah.
And on the Blu-ray, the IMAX scenes fill up the whole screen. Even though they aren't, I don't think they're in the true IMAX format, or there'd be bars on the side. But then it will go back to the 235 for all the other scenes.
Now we should point out the Joker's plan here, which is, the whole arc in the film of the Joker is that he gives us illusion, I'm just an agent of chaos. I don't plan anything. But what we realize is he plans everything.
Yeah.
And so in many ways, this is, at least in live action, probably the truest version of the Joker as he exists in the comics that we've ever seen, even though he really looks nothing like the Joker as he existed at that time. I think now in the comics they sort of retroactively occasionally added those scars and things like that. But that's an innovation that this movie brought in.
Now, from the start, was the Joker wearing makeup, or was it a chemical accident, or...
Well, do
you remember from the jump how that was?
Well, in the comics, initially he was just a guy who looked like a clown, and we didn't know what his deal was. And then they did an origin story for him, maybe a couple of years after he'd been introduced. So he was introduced, Batman's 39, right? So probably 39 or 40, the Joker was introduced. And a couple of years later, they did a story showing how he was actually, before he was the Joker, he was a crook called the Red Hood. And he wore a red hood, Brian. That's the name. It's like a helmet, like a red helmet. And his origin is actually very, very similar to what we see in the 89 movie.
Okay.
Almost exactly, except that the notion of Jack Napier was something that the movie invented. But what we see in the film, that's basically what happened in the comic.
No, interesting.
Now
this guy, by the way, what's his name? The No Lades. He's in The Fugitive, one of our favorite.
Oh,
movies.
how funny! He plays questionable cops.
Yep.
That's his bailiwick.
Yeah.
Now the police officer here, Detective Ramirez, and I should look up who plays her, but she's meant to evoke the character of Renee Montoya, who's a popular character from the comics and the animated series.
Right.
And that's very deliberate that the movie's doing that, but they don't actually name her Montoya because there's a turn coming with her character that's meant to be a swerve,
Mm-hmm. Yes, and for me now I'm back to 235.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I'm glad they did that on the Blu-ray. Actually,
I think it's clever.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we
Now,
got
now right here we get Cillian Murphy reprising his role as Jonathan Crane, the Scarecrow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you're paying attention, this is the first time we've ever seen a Batman movie villain come back in a sequel.
Right, and he comes back for all. He's there for all three of the films. Which
Yeah,
is
he sort of becomes their lucky charm, I guess, in all three.
Yeah, he must be a Nolan buddy because Cillian Murphy turns up in all his movies.
Yeah, he's in Inception, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Nolan, I mean, that's Nolan, right? He tends to create a repertory company,
right,
and just stay with them.
Something else I threw my readings up on this online this week that I thought was kind of interesting. It was saying that in the openings of this whole Batman trilogy, the main villain, so Ra's al Ghul, Joker, and Bane, they each disguise themselves as one of their own henchmen, and there's a conversation about said villain.
How funny.
In each scene. Isn't that funny? I didn't notice that was actually a thing with the openings.
What's funny is I'm like, wait, does that happen in Dark Knight Rises? I'm like, it does happen in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really funny.
Yeah. They take the mask off. He's like, hello.
That's Tom Hardy?
Commentary.
Did Tom Hardy join us?
Yes.
Hello.
So many voices.
I want to do this whole track now as Batman. So here we have sitting here. There's a bunch of people who look like me.
We should talk about that because that was a huge thing when this movie came out. His voice, his
voice, dude. I say that The Dark Knight is like a 9.8 out of 10.
Yeah.
And one of those 0.1 deductions is the baffling Batman voice.
Yes, which was enhanced in post-production. So that isn't... I mean, it's quite obvious when you listen to it, but that was a decision in post to take it up a notch.
But it's weird because it was a decision that differentiated it from the previous film.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And because I remember watching Batman Begins and hearing what Bale was doing, and I was like, okay. It was like that. I was like, I'm not, all right. And then this basically took what I didn't like about that, and just, in fact, right here, this moment right here, what makes you different from us? And right here, he gets in the thing, and all I heard in the theater was,
yeah,
I didn't know it. And I literally, when I got the DVD, the subtitles, he says, I'm not wearing hockey pads. And I said, oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you. I think it would. I would, if it was up to me, I would change it.
Yes.
Scale it back. But at the same time, it's one of those things where everyone notices it and you chuckle.
Yes.
But then you just like, okay, like it's too good a movie to let it derail you.
I agree with that. I think that, Kevin Conroy, who we can all agree, when it comes to Batman voices, he's the Lord of the Manor, right? Mm-hmm. The Lord of Wayne Manor, if you will. He talked about his approach to playing Bruce and Batman, and he said that as far as he's concerned, Bruce is the character, and so Batman is closer to Bruce's to the real Bruce voice.
Right.
So if this is Bruce, this is Batman. It's just slightly, Right. And then character Bruce is, hey everybody, how you doing? Right. So that's and I feel like I think Christian Bale was trying so hard to give Batman a bat voice that it just bumps up against sort of being comical.
Yeah, I think especially because everything in this film is treated with such like deadly serious and, and so
quote
realistic.
unquote realism. I always say.
Yeah. But I mean, that's the approach, that's the angle, and like then to have that, it just it's jarring.
It is.
I mean, whenever you think of that voice, there was a ton of parodies of this afterwards. You know, you always think of "Where's Rachel?"
Yeah. I do think.
You remember that video of that kid?
What's that?
There's like a video that went around. The one I remember most is like a kid. He's like 10 or something, and he's got the Batman mask on, and he keeps going up to people and going, "Where's Rachel?" And he like does it to his dog. And
That's
it's
really funny. I never saw that, but that sounds really funny.
Yeah.
Now it's obviously he's stitching himself up here after getting attacked by dogs, and that's sort of what prompts his suit to get redesigned. And I love that we actually do pay that off at the end of the film, and we say, see, he planned ahead in case he got attacked by dogs again.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I do find it interesting how this film strips away so many of what we think of as essential accoutrement of the Batman mythos. I mean, this is, when you think about it, here's a movie that has no Wayne Manor and no Batcave.
Yeah.
You know, and that really, and obviously because in the previous film, you know, Wayne Manor got burned down and everything else. But I think it goes to, I really feel like this film was testing Christopher Nolan's thesis about how far in the direction of, again, quote-unquote realism, and I'm going to say that a lot, he could take this character and still have it feel like Batman.
Right.
You know, and to that extent, I feel like that theory gets maxed out in this film. Like,
how so?
In that this, to me, The Dark Knight is as far as you can take quote-unquote realism.
Yes.
Before it started, like, to me, it started to fall in on itself a little bit in the third one.
Yeah.
You know?
And how so?
I feel like let me put it this way. I think that the character in the universe of Batman needs to have room for the fanciful.
Sure. Oh, yeah, sure.
Right. And I think it starts getting it starts feeling very closed off and insular when you start saying, "Oh, we're not going to allow this to be a comic book world."
Yeah.
You know. Now this scene here, a couple things. So we have Aaron Eckhart, who's so good in this. So we love him right away. Just this first scene, what a great intro. But in the comics, he becomes Two-Face while in court trying Salvatore Maroni. And so what the movie's also doing is, if you're a comic book fan, you're kind of expecting that moment to happen here in this courtroom. Because in the comic book, Maroni throws acid at his face in court. And that's a moment that we saw depicted in via video footage in 1995's Batman Forever.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
And that movie showing that shows why that's a stupid thing. If you recall, in that movie, they show Batman is in court.
The Batman or Bruce Wayne?
No, Batman.
I do not remember that.
Batman is in court.
He
jumps out of like the witness stand or wherever the hell he was, and and you're like, well, that's why that didn't work, obviously. Now, every time I watch this movie, I look outside the windows and I see my beloved Chicago.
Oh yeah,
and it just puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, let's put a smile on that face.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, this is truly like one of the most beautiful, Chicago's ever looked on film.
Yeah.
It's captured so beautifully. Oh, we should talk about Maggie Gyllenhaal.
I was just about to bring that up.
Right?
Yeah.
So Rachel Dawes, same character from Batman Begins, but that was Katie Holmes that go around. And apparently she was asked back.
She was asked back.
Yeah, she turned it down, and she went and made some movie. It was called Mad Money, I believe. Right?
That's right.
Some women that rob a bank or something.
Which did not make Mad Money.
No. But it's interesting because this was also during the time when sort of the Tom Cruise stuff was going on with her. Right. And I remember that was like a rumor, like Tom didn't want her to do it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So who
Yeah,
knows?
and as far as I don't know, people from what I've talked to, it feels like Maggie Gyllenhaal is a little bit polarizing in this movie. I certainly never had a problem with her.
No.
I feel it's easier to take her seriously in the role of an assistant DA than it was Katie Holmes.
I agree. Yeah. Yeah.
It's
that's it.
It's weird because even before this movie came out, I had assiduously avoided all spoilers and things like that. But I knew I had a veritable certainty that Rachel was going to die in this movie, and I'm trying to think of why that was, and I don't know.
I don't know.
Before frame one, I was like, Rachel's going to die in this movie, and I don't know where I would have gotten that from because the character was wholly original to the films. So there's no paper trail, if you will.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I'm looking at this right now, and this is just a conversation scene with Dent and Gordon and two chairs. And I gotta say, I just love the way this movie looks. I love the way it's lit. I love that it kind of reminds me of serious films from the 80s and 90s in its aesthetic. And what I mean by that is I was rewatching the Mission Impossible films recently, and I watched Mission Impossible 3, and as much as I like it, it sort of leans into that shaky cam thing that was really popular in the middle aughts.
Yes.
And also that oversaturation style.
Yes.
Which I remember at the time finding baffling. I've never understood what the deal was with that. And I just love this movie, its camera work and its lighting and its aesthetic. It just feels timeless.
Yes.
It almost feels... I don't know how to explain it better, but it just feels more classic, classical.
Very, very classical, yeah.
So it doesn't age,
That's exactly right, yeah. By the way, I want to mention, that little bit right there with Lucius and Coleman Reese, that's a little piece of nothing. It's just narrative texture right now, and then I just love how gradually he becomes a more and more important part of the story in this really interesting way. And that's what this movie does, I think, so well. Is it just it's doling out the narrative with such authority, with such confidence. It's kind of like you're already on board.
Mm-hmm.
Like you already know the world we exist in, so let's get going.
Yeah, and this script is just compact.
Yeah.
Right? There's
and you
much
say that
going
about
on
a
in this
2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, but even for a 2.5 hour movie, this feels like
there's no fat.
Yeah, there's no fat, and there's a lot of ground covered.
Well, what's interesting is I was reading about how Nolan and his brother Jonathan Nolan, when they were tightening the script and everything, that they paid strenuous attention to making the actual script as tight as possible because Christopher Nolan does not have second unit directors.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Isn't that interesting? So, and why? Because he's like John Hammond in Jurassic Park. He wants to imprint on every single shot.
Yeah.
But why? Because he and that's why he doesn't have director's cuts, because what you see is his director's cut.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's hard for me to think of another superhero film that has such a strong directorial voice in service of something that's, again, so grounded. Obviously you've got, you're not going to mistake either of the Burton Batman movies for being directed by anybody else.
Right.
But the distinction I make is that this film feels rooted in the Batman ethos, whereas those two Batman films are rooted in the Burton ethos.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Oh, totally.
The scene earlier where you've got the conversation scene, you've got Harvey Dent sitting and talking to Jim Gordon. I remember watching that opening afternoon in the theater, and I'm like, that's Commissioner Gordon. He's talking to Harvey Dent.
Right.
It's crazy,
Yeah.
Because this was the Batman I'd been hoping to see all my life, just playing it totally straight, not winking at the audience.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that, by the way. So this movie, was a phenomenon.
It really was.
It was. I don't have the numbers. There was a lot of numbers, but basically it was like the quickest movie to make this amount in 2 days, and then in 3 days, and then in 4 days, and then it was like $400 million in a week, or insane numbers. I'm making that up, but
yeah.
And then it's, it made over $1 billion, and it was one of the few films now that has become par for the course with all these IMAX ticket costs and whatnot. But I mean, this movie was ridiculous, and this was one of the few movies I can remember, even like as an adult, like just going to see over and over again.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
Right?
I would say the last time a Batman movie had this much of a cultural reach was probably 89, possibly 92, Mm-hmm. Certainly Batman Begins did not. Not like this. I mean, Batman Begins did okay in the theater, but it was really discovered on home video.
Yeah. And I remember, too, that this also, I mean, before comic book movies were as ubiquitous as they are. I mean, we had several, of course, but I remember this was a movie everybody liked, whether or not you liked comic book movies.
Well, and
just...
Brian, I mean, the summer of '08, we had Iron Man, and then 2 months later this. So you talk about the very best of what the genre can be. I would boil it down to those two movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Now, this scene here is pretty interesting. Number one, we see the essentially the three main crime lords in Gotham. We got Maroni, played by Eric Roberts. We got the Russian, played by Richie Coster. I should know his name. And then Gamble, played by Michael J. White. Mm-hmm. And again, we're talking about like you get strong actors in small roles, and I think it does a nice job of contextualizing the personalities who are in charge, strong personalities who are in charge of Gotham's crime, and how distinct. I mean, look what a great intro scene for Heath Ledger's Joker. I mean, we got a tease of him in the beginning, right? But this is Joker as Joker. Mm-hmm. In my film classes, I show the scene in Batman '89 when he electrocutes that guy.
Yeah.
And I contrast it with this scene.
Oh, okay. So how so? Like,
well,
what's the?
I think both of them are the Joker doing very similar Joker-y stuff. Mm-hmm. And yet they're filtered through the lens of their specific filmmakers and the actors, right? I mean, the choices. I mean, Nicholson played the Joker as Nicholson, mm-hmm. right? And that's not a bad choice. It entirely worked. But like Ledger became somebody else.
Yeah.
Like that's, I mean, of course he's been gone now for so long, and we haven't had the benefit of all the great performances he might have given us. But I mean, you remember Heath Ledger in all movies before. He was like teen heartthrob.
Uh-huh. Yes, right.
Very good actor. He was great in
Brokeback Mountain.
Thank you. Yeah, I was like the gay cowboy movie, but I was like, don't call it that, Zachy.
Right.
But I mean, I forget that this is Heath Ledger. That's how good he is. I'm just like, that's the Joker.
Yeah, I struggled to see him through the makeup and
that's exactly
in
right.
the performance, for sure.
And even then, he made a lot of interesting choices about the degree to which the makeup was applied. And you see the makeup change throughout the film, and that was all Ledger's decision making.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, the whole hastily applied.
Yeah.
It's more like war paint.
Yeah,
and
I mean, even the voice that he does, right?
Yeah.
You can see how that could have been like a Christian Bale Batman voice thing where you're like, nah. Mm-hmm. But
or like Bane for some people.
Which I never had that issue with Bane, but yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, no, ditto. I mean, we'll get to that one, but I actually kind of oddly like it. I don't know how to explain it, but
no, yeah,
but yes, I completely for the Joker. Yeah, it's
like it never once takes you out of it.
Yeah. He's pissing all these people off, and then he's got those grenades and.
Now, Michael J.
This
White,
is such an amazing scene.
This is Michael J. White's second comic book movie because he played the title role in Spawn.
I never saw Spawn.
You're not missing much. That came out, by the way, the same summer as Batman and Robin, which killed the previous version of this character. So everything's
time is a flat circle. Yeah, let's do it. Here's my card. It's just like a Joker poker card.
Now, interesting, we mentioned the Joker card. At the end of Batman Begins, right? We have the setup for the Joker, and you watch that, you're like, oh, well, okay, that's what they're going to do in part 2. But Nolan has said he had no illusions about there being a sequel.
I've heard this where he says, he made each film as if it were going to be the last.
Yes.
And I think that is I really admire that in some ways, because then you put it all on the table, then you end up with these like excellent films because you didn't hold anything back.
Yeah.
And then I read some interview where it was what's his name, Eckhart, was asking Nolan something about like if he'd be in the sequel, if he's going to be in Dark Knight Rises, because a lot of people were asking him like, is he dead, is he coming back?
Yeah.
And Nolan just was like, no. Like very like matter of fact. But then he also said if he had known there was going to be another one, he would not have killed him. And to me, I'm like, oh, he really truly did then. Like, you know, he didn't hold anything back. You know, sometimes they say that and they're just sort of building up their own.
Yeah,
mythology.
and I mean, if I'm honest, that I would file that as the one perhaps miscalculation in this film. Is killing off Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
We'll get there, yeah. What was I going to say along those lines? Sequels? I don't remember. If I remember.
I mean,
let's talk about... Oh, go ahead.
I mean, just picking up on what you're saying about sequels, I mean, I think it tells you something that when people think of greatest sequels of all time, it's like Godfather 2, Star Trek 2, Empire Strikes Back, T2, Dark Knight.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And I mean, that's worth unpacking. Like, what are the lessons? Like, what made this one of the greatest sequels of all time?
I mean, do you have anything off the top of your head there?
Well, I mean, I think to some extent what we were talking about before, where you're not treating it so much as sequel as a continuation, right? Because to me, even the word sequel implies like we have to. Oh, we got to make sure we include this. Oh, we got to hit this beat. We got you have like a checklist. Mm-hmm. Whereas this is it's carrying the story forward and it's taking them into different areas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's no beats repeated in this that are in the first one.
That's true. And it also is, and I'm not comparing it to the others, but just thinking about this one, I mean, it is a complete story.
Yeah.
You know, you're not, but I mean, you could argue for Empire because that has a cliffhanger.
And this is in that sense, this is probably closest to Empire Strikes Back. But you know, look at Terminator 2. I think Terminator 2 is a complete story.
Right. Yeah.
Everything you need to understand that universe is in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, they can stand on their own.
Let's talk about Christian Bale here.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me because he was somebody I'd been pushing for. Like I was in Warner Brothers, like, hey, you know, you guys should hire during my time as a WB executive. No, but I mean, you know, his name had been bounced around since probably the late '90s.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
At least in fan circles, if not, you know, by the people making the decisions. Mm-hmm. I remember seeing him in the movie Reign of Fire.
Yes, which we saw together.
You and I saw it together. And I think that was and Sean Coyle, right?
Yep.
And that must have been early 03, I want to say.
Yeah.
02, 03. And I remember watching that, and I leaned over to Sean, and I was like, this guy needs to play Batman. And, you know, so it's just kind of funny, like, when we look at what happened with Reign of Fire was 02, by the way, but... you know, this is the Batman origin movie I'd always been wanting, and then the guy who I said should play Batman. So it was like Batman Begins was like made for me, you know.
Wow, someone was listening.
Somebody was, you know.
Yeah.
Now this bit here with the Joker telling the thing about how he got his scars. Of course, that's going to pay off when we realize that he's just lying. We don't realize in this moment that he's lying.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that gets to. You know, Nolan's whole approach, which is let's strip away everything, right? And so what he's stripping away with the Joker is the idea that the Joker was anybody before he became the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And what he I think realizes so effectively, which is kind of funny given recent developments at Warner Brothers, the Joker doesn't need an origin.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
We don't need to know a thing, you know. And I think to the extent that the character. Works in the '89 movie, I think one deficit is that, you know, he's just Jack Napier in whiteface.
Right. Sure.
Like there's no tangible difference between who he is before and who he is after. And I think what makes him scary, why he freaks people out, is that he's a complete cipher.
Yeah. Yeah, I've actually I am listening to you, and I am getting kind of lost in watching him. Like
Isn't that funny?
he's just frightening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For those very reasons, you know, and he's just so unpredictable as well. But you know, that reminds me, there was that huge marketing blitz leading up to this, beginning with Comic-Con the year before, right?
Yes, that's right.
Do you remember all this? And then I remember this thing was just everywhere, and all these really innovative and creative ways they were getting people to awareness of this movie. But one of the ones I remember in particular was there was like puzzles, right? Like clues that were dropped.
That's right, online,
and then people could unlock a picture, sort of like square by square, that would eventually reveal the Joker's face. And I literally remember being roommates, with my buddy Chad and Sean, and I remember that day as it was happening, and we kept looking on the computer, and more squares were being revealed, and they finally showed the Joker's face, and it's sort of this haunting, shadowy image where it's a little obscured, and I remember thinking like, wow, that is extreme.
Yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
and I remember, by the way, there was a fair amount of controversy when Heath Ledger was cast.
Yes, that tends to happen, right? I guess
because fanboy's gonna fanboy.
Yeah.
But that was for sure a thing. So, and I remember at the time being like, well, this isn't like 10 Things I Hate About You, Heath Ledger. I mean, he's proven himself as a really good actor, and I was like, I remember at the time I was like, I'm having trouble picturing it in my head, but I trust Christopher Nolan.
Did people have someone else in their mind? It seems like people usually have their own ideas.
I feel like Crispin Glover is like one of those names that's been perpetually,
sure.
Which you can like. I get that
with a good director. If you just let him go, that could be a mess.
That would be probably a very bad idea. But I mean, certainly from a visual perspective, he looks like right out of like Brian Boland drew him in the Killing Joke.
Sure, yeah.
So you can see that, but obviously Chris Nolan was going for something different, and that was, I think it was borne out. And now, of course, everybody's like, oh, well, I always knew it was going to be great. Just like everyone knew Michael Keaton was going to be a great Batman, and everyone knew Ben Affleck was going to be a great, like...
Yeah, isn't that funny? Because, with the whole Michael Keaton thing, I mean, that was back in the day where you couldn't just email. Like, people had to sit down and write strongly worded letters.
Yes.
Dear Warner Brothers.
You almost want like a Civil War style documentary of people like with like reading the hate letters.
Yeah.
Dearest Janet, I've just been informed that a balding comedian has been cast as Batman. I go forth now to do battle. Regards, Jeffrey.
Yeah. That would be really great.
That would be really funny. I think somebody should do that.
Yeah, anyway.
So this was another IMAX scene here, the Hong Kong bit.
Yeah, and it's funny, I'm watching it jump, because all the exteriors are IMAX,
right.
The interiors. But this is like a amazing set piece here.
So I was talking earlier about how, to some extent, this movie maxes out the Nolan thesis. And part of what I mean by that, and I'm not referring to this scene in particular, but there are instances in this film where you look at what's happening and you look at Batman in that suit, and there's a little part of you like, that's kind of silly looking.
Yeah. To its credit, and I know you'd agree, is it doesn't happen often.
No.
But there'll just be a moment. Yeah,
right.
Where it's juxtaposed between some sort of very grounded real world scenario, and then you see him like standing on a street and you're like, huh? Or something.
That's
like
exactly right. Yeah.
Or you're like, how would people truly react to seeing this person, walk up to them?
That's exactly right. So there's a couple, and this is not one of them, but we see that, and I think that's to some extent the flaw in Nolan's thesis, right? Because I think that you have to leave enough room for the fanciful.
Sure.
That the audience isn't so consumed with the sort of the omnipresent reality of it.
Right. And I should mention we're watching the Skyhook sequence.
So this is Batman goes to Hong Kong and essentially grabs Lau, the mob accountant.
Yeah, and I remember thinking this was really cool too, because we hadn't seen Batman really leave Gotham before.
That's right.
It's kind of cool seeing him just like dominate wherever he goes.
And he's really Batmaning it up here in terms of how he's fighting and everything. I feel like between movie 1 and 2, Nolan's ability to shoot action sequences improved substantially.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. I do remember that being a criticism of this one too, where it's a little like just shoot a lot of punchy stuff and
Yes.
just kind of find it in editing, which I do agree with. A little. I wish some of the hand-to-hand stuff made a little more. It was a little clearer.
I
But
think
like
that
this stuff right here, like with the plane and the what's
that all
happening, I feel like that geography all works pretty well.
I agree with it. I think to be honest, I mean, obviously Batman v Superman has come in for its fair share of criticism, but I think that the warehouse fight scene in that film is like one of the most perfect Batman action sequences we've ever gotten.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that goes to Zack Snyder's skill in that area. I mean, he knows how to shoot action.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this movie, it's funny though, because when it does sort of get into this real world stuff, like that, seeing that huge plane and a man fly out by a cable, I mean, there's something that just feels gargantuan about it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas when not everything in the movie is some sort of spectacle, those sorts of things feel huge. Does that make sense?
No, it absolutely does.
Yeah, because otherwise, when everything is huge, then everything it drowns out.
Yeah, and I mean, there's something to be said for economy of scale, where I mean, this film itself, right? It's not about the end of the world.
Yes.
I mean, I think that this is something you and I have talked about a lot, right? Where when you have a world-ending catastrophe that has to be eliminated, at least for me, reflexively, I'm like, well, we know they're not going to end the world, like
Sure.
the world's not going to blow up, so you check out a little bit. Whereas when you think about it, I mean, the climax of this film, or one of the many climaxes of this film, is these two boats, and one might blow up the other, and you watch that and you're like, I don't know what's going to happen here. Right? And so many lessons we can learn in terms of what you can gain by just dialing down the stakes.
Yeah. Oh, that is such. Yeah, we'll get there. That's such a great sequence. Something that's interesting about this movie too is that it has two composers.
That's right.
Have we ever really understood why that is? I mean, I think we can posit why that is, but these are, and it's not just like a guy and his protege, right? It's not like Hans Zimmer and some guy.
It's
that he's
two
bringing
great
up.
composers.
Yeah. Hans Zimmer and James Newton Howard. So, I mean, I don't know. Have you read anything about that, or what the thinking was behind that?
I haven't, to be honest. And I had read at one time like who did what material in terms of the thematic material. Unfortunately, I don't remember exactly how that laid out. I seem to remember that the stuff in Begins, where it's Bruce's childhood and stuff, that was Newton Howard, like that thematic material. But like the that just sounds like Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, and the Joker's theme is kind of interesting, where it's really just like a
ascending
note.
I was about to say it's like, like
yeah, that's it.
basically.
Which is funny though, because it totally works.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not. We've talked about this. Just the way I grew up with John Williams and whatnot. Like I prefer the sort of themes and motifs and melody and whatnot. But I mean, when atonal stuff works, it works.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think Zimmer is kind of an acquired taste for many, because you can tell when he's really tuned in and when he kind of just feels like he's not interested.
Yeah,
and I think the stuff he did in this trilogy, a lot of it is very good.
Yeah, and I feel like I just answered my own question though, but saying like this movie wants it both ways. It wants that sort of percussive atonal stuff, but it also wants the strings and the melody in other moments, and I just can't understand how that conversation went, where they got these two composers to be like, "Sure, we'll be partners."
Well, here's an interview with James Newton Howard from 2009. Okay. So this is in the wake of The Dark Knight. And he says, after Batman Begins, we were either going to succeed or not speak to each other anymore. We ended up being even better friends than we were. The combination of the two of us has really become the voice of the score, so it's no longer any kind of a liability. If either Hans did the whole score or I did the whole score, it would not be the same. And Hans Zimmer added, on the first one, there wasn't a piece that wasn't touched by both of us. That's kind of interesting. The weird thing was, by it being the two of us, it had to be a conversation. It involved Chris Nolan very much, and they all kind of worked together to create the musical identity, you know?
That's kind of amazing, because I doubt two heavyweights could very often do that.
But, I mean, James Newton Howard did not come back for the third one.
Right.
So I don't know.
Yeah, who's to say?
Who's to say what happens?
But it's a fantastic result.
It is, yeah. But you know what's funny is there is for sure a easily identifiable Batman motif in these films, and yet, if I'm honest, that motif does not identify the character to me the same way, for example, the Danny Elfman music does, which to me is as close as Batman has to like the John Williams theme.
I agree. I wouldn't mind. You've said this before with Superman. It's like no matter who's making the movie, just acknowledge that's his theme and
move on.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. Even though I do feel like what they did in this one works well for this one.
Yes.
If you're going to have the more, like you say, the sort of fanciful, fantastic Gotham Batman world, I'd say bring back the Elfman one.
I wonder if part of that is because obviously, if Batman '89 hit us at like smack dab the exact, like we were bullseye dead center.
Oh yeah. We were ready to be molded by whatever was put in front of us.
That's right. And so you had that, and then you had Batman Returns, and then the animated series used the Elfman music.
Mm-hmm.
So we had basically a 5, 6, 7 year period where that was Batman's music.
Yeah.
So that's part of it, I'm sure.
And speaking of this hostage video that we just saw, that the Joker's handheld video camera thing, that was something where Nolan let Heath Ledger direct those.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently he did the first one we just saw with the guy in the meat locker, the guy with the hockey pads. I guess Nolan was there for that one, sort of overseeing it, and then he thought it was so good he let Ledger direct the other one on his own and surprise him. The one with Anthony Michael Hall upside down.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
And apparently, according to what I read, that one, he didn't even give him any direction. And if that's what Ledger came up with on his own, like having that guy and then seeing the pages flip and then fall to the ground, I mean, that's pretty good. You can see the alternate reality where Heath Ledger's still with us and he became a great filmmaker in his own right. Yeah.
What a shame.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a thing too. I mean, we knew he was going to be the Joker, and I feel like we had seen the image already. But then, he passed away. I want to say January of the year this came out.
It was like January, February. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and that was. I mean, it was just terribly sad, and then it also kind of, put something in the back of your mind as you were watching this film. And I remember even before seeing it, knowing there was a scene where the Joker was pretending to be dead because they were saying it might be bothersome to some people. Do you remember that?
I remember hearing about that.
Yeah.
Hearing the concerns.
Yeah.
I remember the parallels people drew with The Crow, right?
Yeah, sure.
Which also involved, an actor wearing white face makeup and. Mm-hmm. Now, I love that little bit right there. Did you see that where Bruce just tosses the drink away?
Yeah.
It's this little bit of character texture, right? We don't have him like, I don't drink because I need to be on my toes. It's just this little bit, and I love how this collaboration between Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale arrived at this very unique characterization of Bruce Wayne that in many ways, at least at the time, was the truest we'd ever gotten to a modern comic book version of Bruce Wayne. I would argue that I think Ben Affleck is in many ways even truer to the comic.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's a better version because I'm going to piss somebody off either way.
Right.
I really like Ben Affleck as Bruce Wayne and Batman, but
you're going to get your own Ken Burns letter.
Yeah. Dear
Sally,
I was listening to a podcast commentary. Please keep me in your thoughts and prayers. Regards, Salvatore.
Yeah, or I was gonna say like Buttmaster 29.
Oh, that's even better. Yeah,
Yeah, like some stupid internet name.
that's hilarious. So over here now we've got the it's funny, right? Because this in another movie this would be like, the mayor gets like exposed to Smilex, not the mayor, the commissioner gets exposed to Joker gas or something,
Yeah.
But again, that's not this movie.
Right. No. Just a good old fashioned car bomb.
Yeah, and an acid drink,
Yes. Yeah. Do you remember when like car bombs were all the rage in films in the 90s?
Yeah.
That put like the Pelican Brief and Mission Impossible 1, and that was happening a lot. And I remember like, starting my car and sometimes it'd be like, I was like, get put like a, when you're like young and you see something and it gets stuck in your head for the rest of your life. Like that car bombs from all these movies I watched when I was a kid.
That was like a very specific era.
Yeah.
Now we should mention here the Harvey Dent's coin.
Right.
Which has been brought up a few times, and I love that. I mean, if you know the comics, then you're like, oh, well, it's a two-headed coin. But they play that thread out so effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Where throughout the movie, he's like, here, I'll just flip for it, and you're just like, man, he just says good luck, right? But he says in the beginning, he's like, I make my own luck.
Mm-hmm.
And
just like Cal from Titanic.
There you go.
I make my own luck, Rose. If I can bring it back to Titanic, believe me, by gum, I will.
By gum. Now, I should mention that Two-Face has always been, like, probably second only to the Joker for me in terms of my favorite Batman villains.
Mm-hmm.
Before I ever saw him brought to the screen, I just thought visually he was such an interesting... He had such a great look, unique. And in the animated series, they did an amazing job of building up Harvey Dent over several episodes before turning him into Two-Face.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah, I do.
And Richard Mall from Night Court, he was Bull.
Yeah,
he was his voice, and he did great. But then, when he was brought to live action, it was Tommy Lee Jones and Batman Forever, and it was kind of a joke,
Yeah.
And so I'd been waiting again for like this version of Harvey Dent, someone who you feel the tragedy of what happens to him.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you mention those two characters because it's not, you don't think of those characters and their powers. Like they don't have a lot of villains. It's like, oh, that's the guy with the 8 arms,
right?
But like this. You think about their psychological implications.
Here, real quick, right here. This right here, probably one of my all-time favorite Batman moments on screen. Look, he just takes that gun
rifle
apart and just tosses it. That's like the most Batman moment.
Yeah. Without even looking at it,
he doesn't break stride.
Yeah, and good direction too. If you just were to, shaky cam that would look dumb, but it's like tracks with him.
Exactly.
Because he's a man on a purpose.
That's right. It's great. I love that. Like literally one of my right here, by the way, this is Senator Patrick Leahy.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. That's kind of cool.
So he is a huge Batman fan.
Yeah.
And so he not
this
only
is this is the man who's standing up to Joker right now. Like
yeah, he's like, you remind me of my father.
Yeah.
So he's also in the next one. But he was also in Batman Forever.
Yeah.
And he also did a voice cameo on the animated series. So he's just like a big Batman fan.
I think that's so cool, and it's like this tradition they've carried on.
Yeah, like if I was a senator, that's all I would do is just call. I'd be like, hey, can I be in a Star Wars movie?
Yeah, right.
I'm a senator.
Yeah, I can get the time off. Don't worry about that.
We don't do much.
That's funny. But he got a good memorable role. I didn't know who he was till I read up on it.
Yeah, isn't that funny?
But yeah, they gave him a good plum part.
So this scene here is so unnerving. I love how Nolan just keeps the camera spinning. There's no cuts.
You know what's interesting? I was going to bring up this moment too, and I have nothing to back this up. This is just me thinking. But so with Ledger's passing, they obviously weren't done with the film. If it was January and it came out in July, so I imagine they wouldn't have had him for some looping. and some post-production stuff. And so they only had the audio that they had. They very well may have. I don't know. It's just a theory. But with that in mind, I remember watching this movie in the theater. And in this moment where he's got Maggie Gyllenhaal here with the knife, there's no music. It's all room tone. And I've noticed that there's a lot of fluctuating room tone, almost like they're going up and down and toggling the volume.
Oh, interesting.
And I wonder if that's because it was all they had.
That's really interesting.
Again, just a theory, but there's something about Brian, that makes it scarier.
Real quick, hold on. This moment right here. Where was Batman that whole time?
When he could have killed Rachel?
Because it's
how he just appears?
It's a whole room of people, and suddenly Batman is right next to him, being like, "You're gonna love me." Were you just standing there? Do
you think if we could see a wide shot, it'd be him parting through the crowd like, excuse me, pardon, excuse me.
Like, I was watching this yesterday, and that was the thought I had. I was like let me put it this way. In a comic book, that would be Batman, like, swinging down and, like, kicking him in the face and being like, you're going to love me, Yeah,
yeah.
But when you look at the optics of the scene, it makes no sense.
What, though? I've never questioned it.
It's like the T-Rex entering at the end of Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
And you're like, where did he come from? But that was the thought I had, is like, it's a room full of people that are all surrounded. Like,
that's hilarious. On that note, something that I've always noticed in all the Batman movies is, out of necessity with the mask, he's had to put like dark eye makeup on.
Yes.
Underneath. So you're not seeing like a bunch of, like white eyelids through this black mask. And I mean, so clearly while he was in that room and he was putting on this thing, he had to be like, okay, like kind of like
put on the makeup. And,
yeah. But it's never obviously addressed.
It reminds me of in Batman Returns, there's the scene at the end where he tears the mask off.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's very obviously they cut back and they like removed his eye makeup before he tears it off.
Yeah.
And that always sticks out to me.
Yeah, because it's done in one shot with the mask on and off.
That's right.
Yeah. That's funny.
Now the whole thing here is Harvey Dent is telling Jim Gordon, like, I don't trust your people in major crimes, right? And of course the bitter irony is he ends up being proven right.
Right.
And that's so. When the film climaxes with sort of that battle of wills between Two-Face and Gordon, I mean, Gordon bears the guilt of he was wrong. He should have listened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now this dialogue scene, I really like this, where Alfred is telling Bruce about this character that he encountered, and his whole thing about some people just want to watch the world burn.
Uh-huh.
And I love it because of course it's a great metaphor for the Joker, which is exactly what he is. But more than that, I think it incorporates into Alfred's characterization the idea that he was a real life badass.
Yeah, it like teases at it without really filling in all the questions you have.
Exactly. And this goes to, Michael Caine talked about like how he sort of constructed a backstory for Alfred on his own. Right, I had this idea. I was a Marine, maybe, and I would assume that when it came time to do the sequel, Nolan dipped into whatever Michael Caine had figured out.
Right.
I really like Michael Caine as Alfred. He was great.
Oh, he's great.
I've liked every single Alfred, and they're all so different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's so great. Like the Michael Guff Alfred, I love him.
Yeah, just very different, very always supportive.
Yeah,
which is different levels of, I don't know what you want to call it.
Alfredness.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, I can't imagine that Alfred running around the jungles of Rangoon.
Right. That's funny.
That was a beautiful shot. I just want to call out of Batman on top of the Sears Tower. That was.
There's a lot of those in this, and I think that's something Christopher Nolan talked about, where it just goes to. Again, this is not like, oh, he's right and he's wrong or vice versa, but it's just how different filmmakers approach this material, right? Mm-hmm. Nolan was like, I want to treat it completely real, and so we call attention to what's the word? What an innovation Batman is into this world. He's something new and different.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Whereas Tim Burton was like, I need Gotham City to look like it could have a place for somebody like Batman in it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why he had Anton Furst do what he did, and you know, Burton's Gotham City is entirely stage bound.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, again, just to be clear, I'm not like, oh, he sucks and he's wrong and he's right. But it's just that's what this character allows. You have all these different interpretations that are all just as valid.
Yeah, and I still love '89 Batman. As I mentioned earlier, that conversation where they're like, "Well, that one's done," or "That Joker was no good anymore." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Like, I always love that movie. I always will. So I love that there are different iterations. I think it's fun to have all of them.
I agree with you.
There doesn't have to be one definitive one.
Well, and I mean, this scene right here, I love this. Coleman Reese is trying to muscle Bruce Wayne.
Such a little weasel. I was doing some research. Yeah. he's
but I love that. If you look at Morgan Freeman, you think he's like, oh my God, he's like panicking. What's he supposed to do? You know?
Yeah, right.
And then the payoff, I remember, oh my God, the whole crowd just busted out laughing.
Yeah.
There are several applause moments in this film, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
He's just like, good luck.
Yeah. You know, just real quick, going back to that Sears Tower thing, and we're talking about, you know, aesthetic. I watched, and I'm not going to poop on this film, but I was watching part of Justice League last night on HBO,
sure.
And I like a lot of that movie, but I didn't bump me as much in the theater, but watching it on TV, the whole finale, which is obviously just by necessity a huge CGI fest.
Yeah.
But it really does look like a bunch of humans in front of a green screen, and they just slapdash put something behind them.
Yes.
And so it just feels a little floaty and weightless and whatnot. And so I'm not really responding at all to the action.
I totally agree.
But then, like in this film, when you have that parking garage at the beginning and Batman calculates when the van is going to pass and then he leaps and lands on it. I mean, there's just something inherently grabs you more.
Hey, I should tell you, this is really weird, but like I have a Facebook window open on my computer, and there's like an ad for some random thing, and it played a clip of that scene where Batman calculates about the van.
What?
And lands on, like literally as you were, I'm not making this up, as you were saying that, I was watching Batman do that in a Facebook ad while I'm...
Well, hey,
I
guys,
swear to God, I'm not
thank
making
you,
that up.
for joining me, Zachy, and our FBI agent who's listening in.
That's the weirdest thing, because I've got the movie playing on one window, and then I've got...
It knows.
That moment specifically.
See, you know what I'm picturing now? I'm picturing like a Terminator 2 or a Terminator 1, like a horrifying future war sort of thing where people are finding artifacts from the past to learn, and one of them happens to be this podcast. And like, so some guy's by this like dumpster fire, and hooded clothes and whatnot, and he's listening, and we're laughing about the AI listening to us, and they're like, well, they didn't know.
You bastards.
Yeah.
Now look at that. Now this area right here, I used to like work right around there where he's driving his bike, where we see him pull out on the bicycle, the motorbike.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was an animation studio that I used to work at.
Was it underground like that? Did you have to go in like an elevator? There was like an all illuminated ceiling.
It's all coming together now. Now this funeral parade scene, for some reason, it always reminds me of The Fugitive.
Totally, the parade.
The parade scene in that.
Yeah.
Now I like here where we've got Bruce Wayne Batmaning outside of his costume.
Yeah.
I love that they incorporate a lot of that into this movie, and I think part of that is just the recognition that he looks goofy in the suit under the wrong lighting.
Absolutely. When you mentioned that earlier, I was going to say, yeah, he's best kept to shadows, and this is broad daylight. And
honestly, that part of the fight scene at the benefit dinner for Harvey Dent. I'm not crazy about how Batman is sort of under these like fluorescent lights.
It's funny because it doesn't bump me.
It to me it's not like, oh well, screw this, but there's a little part of me where I'm like, that suit. it's best thought of as something you don't really know what it is. I think if you look at it in the light of day or the light of light, you're like, oh, it's like armor plating and it's this and you shouldn't, like, if you're a citizen, you shouldn't know what Batman is.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You know. Now, Nestor Carbonell is the Mayor Eyeshadow over here.
Yeah. He was on Lost at the time, right?
He was. That's right.
Yeah.
First time I ever saw him was on a show called Jesse. He was like the love interest for Christina Applegate. Oh, and there's David Dastmalchian from the Ant-Man movies.
Yeah. He's a guy that has a lot of bit parts, makes big impression. And then we see Joker out of makeup there.
That's the one and only time in this whole movie we see Joker out of makeup.
Which is kind of cool.
So Brian, David Dastmalchian makes 2 Batman alumni who are in the Ant-Man movies.
Wait, who's the second one?
Catwoman.
Oh, yeah. I had to think for a second. Yeah, of course. Yeah, good call. Look at all this stuff, too. Like, having all these extras and costumes. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I remember hearing about when this was being filmed, right? Because obviously you and I were living in California at this time.
I do, too, yeah.
But on social media, they're filming Batman. I'm like, shut up, dummy.
Yeah, and there'd be a lot of... Because, this was when people started having phones with cameras, and
that's right.
You could see this stuff posted.
And specifically the climax in the building that's under construction. I had a friend who lived in a high rise in Chicago, and he told me about how I remember when they were filming, because you could see, like, flares going off and all this stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, that's the Batman movie.
Oh, cool.
Now, this whole thing with Gordon faking his death, my whole thing is, like, how do they pull that off?
In what way?
Well, like, was it something that he planned, like, I'm going to fake my death, I'm going to pretend to get shot, or was it was a flesh wound, and he's like, just tell everybody
Let's run with it. Yeah. It's kind of, I mean, to put his wife through this.
Right.
I mean... Yeah,
that's really funny.
And so, also in the comics, his daughter's name is Barbara, right? Not his wife.
Yeah. So I think I'm not a super expert on this, but my understanding is that pre-crisis, his wife's name was not Barbara. Barbara Gordon was his daughter, and his wife had died. And then after, when Frank Miller did Batman Year One, they kind of youthified everybody. They made him a little younger. They had to account for the fact that Gordon's a little bit younger, but his wife is, but he has a daughter who's slightly older. So they made Barbara Gordon his adopted daughter.
Okay.
I don't know what's the case now, because I don't follow that stuff anymore.
Right.
I don't know if they've undone that or whatever, but that was definitely how they had figured that out in the past. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's confusing.
Sure, got it.
I know that the character of Barbara, the wife Barbara Gordon, was she was also on the TV show Gotham.
Oh, interesting.
Right, she's like but I'm a lesbian also, and it's like she's dating. Jim Gordon played by...
I only watched like the first couple episodes.
I never watched the show, so yeah. I know people who swear by it. I mean, they love it.
Yeah, I think, well, from what I can tell, I mean, it's, as we've spoken about, it's just a different aesthetic. Right?
Yes.
Like, it kind of, I think it leans into the sort of comic bookiness, or almost, it feels like a modern day 66 version.
Yes.
In some ways.
Yeah, and I love this right here. Oh, man, look at that. He just breaks his ankles. And we see him, like, in crutches for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, this job ain't going to kill me. He's like, I'm counting on it.
See, here's the thing. I think that I always find it confusing that essentially everyone in Gotham knows that Batman doesn't kill. Because to me, I almost feel like, well, criminals shouldn't know that.
Yeah, that's true. Because they can hold that against him. And what is the timeline between this and the first one? I mean, how long have they been existing with him?
It's a few months.
Yeah.
It's a few months. I would say less than a year.
Which is interesting because then in the third film, he's become, reclusive.
Well,
so it's really like Batman didn't really exist in Gotham for all that long.
Yeah, it should be Batman Begins and Ends.
right.
That's my beef with the trilogy capper is, and I've said again, I don't want to dive too far down that, but it always felt to me more like Christopher Nolan wanted to seal his movies up in a hyperbaric chamber, so that Warner Brothers couldn't do to him what they did to Tim Burton.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and for better or worse, but I completely understand his feeling.
Oh, sure. I mean, he'd seen it. I mean, you go from Jack Nicholson to Arnold Schwarzenegger,
right.
And you can't even buy that it's the same series.
Yeah.
And we talked about this.
I guess they are, but I don't.
Yeah, well, and I think that goes to what we talked about last year when we talked through. But I love that right there. Batman stops him, like, "Oh, you just leave it up to chance," and he's
like, "What are you doing, you goober?" If anyone
yeah,
saw this,
and he's like, "But I'm not leaving it up to chance, right?"
Yeah.
Like, I love Harvey's concept because Batman is right. People don't know.
Yeah.
If anybody saw it, he's right. But look at Harvey's his moral code.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Of course I would never do that."
Right.
And that's, the whole movie's construction of White Knight, Dark Knight is so effective because it makes us believe in Harvey as a character. And so what we're seeing as the film progresses, we're seeing him gradually unravel.
Mm-hmm.
And it kills us because even if you're not encyclopedically familiar, if you're any kind of a Batman fan, you know what has to happen to Harvey Dent.
Right.
And I said this at the time. I was like, imagine if Anakin Skywalker had been portrayed this way.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Regrets. Nothing but regrets.
Yeah, this could have been Attack of the Clones.
Right? Like Rachel could be like, "Harvey, don't do this," and Harvey would be like, "Excuse me, milady."
Yeah.
But no, what we were talking about with Batman and Robin, like, it's easy now to be like, well, that's that version, and this is this version.
Yeah.
But at the time, certainly for you and me, all we knew was here is the series of Batman movies, and they just threw a Molotov cocktail into it. So I can see Nolan's rationale, but I think the movies suffered as a result. Well, the movie, to me, my estimation of this has not changed, but I feel like The Dark Knight Rises suffered as a result.
Yeah.
But that's, you know what, I know there are people listening to this commentary right now who are passionate fans of all three of those movies. So I'm like, well, that's cool. I'm not going to ever question that,
Mm-hmm. And that's another thing with Heath Ledger, where people wonder if he would have played into the third film because he doesn't die in this one.
Yes.
And I can't remember where I saw this. Like, if it was actually from Nolan, or I don't remember.
I believe it was David Goyer.
David Goyer, yeah, they were talking about that he was going to be imprisoned, and it would have been a sort of Silence of the Lambs situation where he's behind bars, sort of taunting and / aiding Batman in taking down someone.
Yes, and that would have been nice. I know that certainly in the early goings, the intention was not to turn Dent into Two-Face in this movie. And that was something Goyer talked about, how he would have had the courtroom scene in the third one and have the acid, and that's how. So maybe that was just clever misdirection.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny too with that. We talk about how stuffed this movie is, but expertly so. I'm amazed that they can fit these two villains in here. I think the only time it feels like it's spilling over is in the last 20 minutes of the film.
Yes.
Right? But, I mean, when you think about all the stuff that the goings-ons and, that we're tracking with all of it, and I don't know, that it doesn't feel overstuffed. And that's another thing, too. There's this tendency to include more than one villain in a lot of these movies.
Yeah, I mean, every Batman movie other than the 89 one,
there's always
has had two villains, right?
A master.
The Dark Knight Rises has three.
Oh yeah,
because Talia also.
Talia, y'all. That's what I thought you were saying.
Talia, y'all. Yeah, and I don't know why that is. I mean, I remember when Batman Returns came out, and at the I think we all pretty much knew that the Penguin. I think everyone assumed it was going to be Penguin.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, "Oh, and we're doing Catwoman too." I remember even I was like 11. I was like, "Why?"
Mm.
Yeah.
I guess at that age I was just like, sure.
I remember being like, "Why are you cycling through the villains so quickly?" Because especially, like, I didn't know they were going to kill off the Penguin, but once they did, I was like, "Well, shit." How are we supposed to get our like Batman 66 movie with all of them together?
Right on a submarine,
right?
Yeah.
Now this bit here, I really like this where Bruce is about to do it, man. He's about to put it all behind him.
Yeah.
I think it works as a measure of his character. That if it comes down to it, he'll do it. He'll, I mean, he was ready to go to jail.
Yeah. That scene reminded me of something I was going to bring up earlier. Nolan, great director, obviously visually his actors are great, but he always gets these weird stiff performances out of the side characters. Have you noticed this? Like this isn't a great example, but a lot. I was with this press scene with Harvey Dent confessing he's Batman, but sometimes he gets these people being like, "Yeah, I agree," sort of performance, or like the cops, especially
no
when
more
you have
dead
like
cops.
Yeah, that guy. Well, and then when there's an action sequence, especially I remember in Dark Knight Rises, but when the guy's like, "You're in for a show tonight, son."
Oh yes,
And I'm always like, oh, it's so odd. It doesn't fit with the rest of the movie. But then I was going to bring that up in the opening of this movie, which I like, even though it's weird. When you have those clowns doing the intricate plotting to get, rob the bank, they speak in this weird cartoonish sort of. They have cartoony voices and cartoony speak.
Sure, they sound like cartoon criminals.
Yeah, I know why they call him the Joker. Well, they call him Joker. Oh, you haven't heard, pal? And it's funny because it's incongruous with the rest of the film. But there's something kind of unnerving about it,
That's really
because
funny.
they're behind these masks. I know, it's just an interesting choice.
No, that's really funny. I can't say I've noticed it, but the tumblers didn't click,
Yeah,
But
with the clowns or with all the side people?
No, the all the stuff you're describing always it was like a little pinprick,
Yeah. It's just funny. I can't remember how it goes. I think in this one it's goes down a little bit easier. This sequence that's coming up right here, where you have the cops, lower whacker. But
there's a few bits where it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just
this
funny.
This
where
right here,
everyone
Brian,
else is on this other level, and then these guys feel like they're like, yeah, just do whatever.
Well, they got a bunch of character actors and just plugged them in.
Yeah.
But no, I just wanted to call out the reveal of the two-headed coin.
Yes.
And again, like if you know Batman, you're like, oh well, that's Harvey's two-headed coin. But like you have to remember that this movie was seen by a whole plethora of people who were not intimately familiar with the Batman mythology.
Sure.
So that's like a great moment. And again, it's all seeding because that's not the culmination of what that coin is going to come to represent.
Mm-hmm.
There's, you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Good point.
That coin has its own 3-act structure.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Now, this is all like Whacker Drive and stuff, man. I don't know. For me, part of this is just like my nostalgia. Like I walked these streets,
Yeah.
beating up bad guys, and
we've talked about with Terminator 2 the truck chase following the mall pursuit and all that. That's like a showstopper sequence, but that is like a Brian Hall special. Like I used to watch that on repeat when I was a kid. I've seen that scene so many times. I would put this up there in that pantheon where this is just an excellent sequence right here. I've watched this so many times. If I'm flipping the channels and I'm close to this, I'll wait to get to this moment.
Oh yeah,
this is unbelievable, and it's like a SWAT van, getting thrust out into the lake.
And you talk about economy of scale.
Mm-hmm.
You and I can easily imagine what this would look like today with a digital playground available.
Yes, and it would have been bigger, but it would have lost something.
But would it have been better?
No.
I'm going to say no. Right?
No.
I think what makes this entire chase sequence from here up until we got you, you son of a bitch, it all there's aspects of it that I'm fairly certain are digital, but it's so sparingly used that it just completely blends together.
Yeah, and it's a lot of miniatures.
Yes.
Which look great. I mean, if you're really like looking for them, you can find them. But I mean, they blend so much better.
Yeah.
And no music, which is fantastic.
That's another thing. Like, you don't realize the lack of music.
Yeah, but look at these cars like flipping in this confined space. I mean, there's something dangerous and thrilling about it. That, like you say, without it's more understandable. The tension is more understandable to you than like a digital playground.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, we sound like grumpy grandpas because this is stuff that we rail about so much.
Well, it's because we're right, Zachy.
We are right. That is also true.
Now I sound like a grumpy old person.
Back in my day.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just, there's something to that. There's something to just, the stakes are real.
Yeah.
But they're measurable.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, less is more.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is still an escalation of danger than we saw, for example, in Batman Begins.
Yes.
So they did go bigger, but they didn't necessarily go wider.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really helps. And this is all Lower Wacker Drive, by the way, what we're seeing here in Chicago. And we just exit the Tumbler, Batman's tank there.
Yeah.
I find that the Tumbler is very polarizing among people.
That's it. I like it. I think it fits with this interpretation.
I don't mind it as this version of the Batmobile, but I like less that it's sort of become accepted that that's what Batman needs to be driving around in. I think you and I both would agree that for us, the Anton Furst Batmobile is sort of the apotheosis of what Batman should be driving,
Good Lord, Zachy.
Yes.
Apotheosis?
That's a word.
I would say that impressed. I'm like, mental note, look up apotheosis after commentary.
So the apotheosis meaning like that's like the culmination.
Got it.
So to me, that's like the perfect Batmobile.
Oh, that is easily my favorite Batmobile.
Yeah.
And Zachy, on a side note, actually surprised me in the mail with a little model of it the other day, which was like a delightful surprise.
Yeah, they have these, this is not planned, but yeah, Jada, which makes like toy cars, they have these replicas of different on-screen Batmobiles. So I know how much Brian loves the 89 Batmobile, so I got one for me, and I was like, I'm going to send one to Brian too. And then I texted Brian, I was like, I got to be careful, otherwise I'm going to order all of these. Good thing I didn't. Well, guess what just arrived for the UPS
Really?
this morning? I got like 5 Batmobiles that just arrived, so
That's great.
including the Tumbler and also the Justice League Batmobile, the Zack Snyder Batmobile, which I've said looks like if the Anton Furst Batmobile and the Tumbler had sex.
right.
Now, the Batpod. I mean, we should mention the Batpod.
Yeah.
I feel like the Batpod is like one of those things that identifies uniquely with this movie.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, it was a bit polarizing when it was first seen before people saw the movie, and then after the movie, it was like, holy crap, that's awesome!
Which, like it's like fanboys don't learn.
Right. Yeah. Just
like,
wait,
I'm not
man.
saying you have to love it after, but why don't you keep your powder dry before?
Yeah, exactly.
I think people didn't like that he's got like these massive machine guns on there.
Yeah, sure.
And
Well,
it's
then
like,
how's he going to bust through that glass door?
Exactly.
Which, by the way, the sound design on this sequence,
Oh, so good.
I can hear it in my head even though I'm watching this on silent right now.
Yeah, I'm totally with you.
Yeah. But yeah, this is reminding me of what we were saying earlier, where some of the fight, hand-to-hand combat scenes aren't filmed, they're fine. But this action and the progression of this sequence is just like expert.
Well, and I mean, the cat and mouse game here between Joker and Batman, it's so good, and I mean, they're not even face to face. I mean, this is sort of like, it's like in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, where you have this battle of wills being played out between William Shatner and Ricardo Montalban, but the entire movie, they're never face to face. Right? Because they're talking to view screens.
Yeah.
So they're never there at the same time. And so this scene, I mean, in the movie they talk obviously, but this scene here, it's like this battle of wills.
Yeah.
But it's the battle of the concept. It's the concept of what Batman represents versus what the Joker represents. That bit right there where we saw the bat pod like go
right
up the wall and turn around. I was watching with my kid yesterday. He's like, "That's cool."
I love this shot here too, with the Joker walking down the street as the camera's tracking with him, and he's just like, like cracking his neck. You're like, dude, so that good. Guy's scary.
It's funny. I was watching this with my 9-year-old, and yesterday afternoon he was like doing this thing where he's like licking his lips all weird, and I was like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "That's what the Joker does." I'm like, "All right, listen, can you not please?" You know the ongoing story of me and my 9-year-old. So.
Yeah. And I love it. I love it from afar.
This is great. What a great Joker moment right here. Look at that.
Yeah.
See, it's this real balancing act because you could easily see, and right here, applause moment. Oh my God, the crowd went nuts when Jim Gordon shows up again.
He's like, "Can you just give me a minute?" Great.
To me, I was like, if we're at a point where the crowd is applauding Jim Gordon, the movie's doing something right. Like as a beloved character, right? Because I mean, not to denigrate his performance, but I couldn't see that happening for Pat Hingle.
No. Yeah.
You know, not to denigrate the man or his performance, but certainly the choices that were made for his character in those movies.
Different interpretation, yeah.
Yeah. Now right here, we stay on Ramirez for just this extra second, which in hindsight, you realize, there's something sketchy going on. But the movie's done such a good job of drawing us off the scent of her being questionable that you don't even think about that.
Yeah.
Now this shot of Joker in the jail, that's one of those iconic shots in the movie.
Yeah.
So good, where he's sitting there.
Yeah.
And think about this. We're now 1.5 movies into this trilogy before Jim Gordon becomes Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah, which is kind of cool because it makes him this active person who's rising the ranks. He's not just there and kind of doing what he does.
Well, it's weird because you realize that, I mean, again, if you read the comics, you knew how important Gordon is to the whole thing. But, he had never been taken seriously in live action before this trilogy. Before they thought to do it here. Like, hey, why don't we treat Gordon like an important character?
Right.
What a concept.
Yeah, well, and like a partner.
Yeah.
With Batman.
Yeah.
To a degree.
Sorry, I told you I was dead.
Yeah. Or I meant the Joker, the clapping, which
so
apparently
unnerving.
was improvised on set.
I believe it. It's funny because we talk about, here's a little bit of seeding here where we don't know what that guy's deal is.
So my tum-tum don't feel so good.
Oh my God. I mean, you can just sit and just watch Ledger, all the choices he made.
Yeah, that was such a good,
It's so interesting, God. But, there was some thought of did the Joker make him kill himself? Or he, did it? And my understanding is that was not, in fact, the case.
Wait, what do you mean? For Heath Ledger. I thought you were talking about the film with the guy with...
No. In real life,
yeah.
Did the Joker make Heath Ledger go crazy?
Yeah, immersing himself in the character.
Yeah, and that you can see how as a narrative that has some appeal as an urban legend type thing,
Yeah.
But I mean, he had been done for a year before he died.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's nice. It's interesting to add to the myth of the film, but I find it kind of insulting.
That's exactly right.
You know what I mean? He's a friggin' actor. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. No. That right.
Yeah.
Now, see, you look at how his makeup looks here. I mean, this was Ledger making a choice.
All smeared and
Yeah, I mean it works great in this lighting right here. Look at that.
Oh,
And he's
yeah.
doing look at his face. He's doing so many interesting things.
Yeah.
Like I was rewatching this last night, and this dialogue specifically just really impressed upon me again how clever Ledger was and how he constructed this character.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh man, I was gonna say something I forgot already. This was, I think, the first image, quote unquote, that was revealed of the Joker was from this interrogation scene, but he was
That's right.
hid behind some like diffusion or something, right? Like you saw the camera and you saw like his colors, but it was all.
Oh, right.
Remember
right.
that?
Okay, now Brian, here's my other question.
Yes.
So here's Gordon. He's like, all right, well, you're gonna talk to that guy, and the light turns, and Batman's there. How long has he been there?
Behind him, yeah.
Like, is he like holding his breath in? I mean, he's like 6 inches behind him.
That'd be really embarrassing if he had turned around too early.
Exactly. That's see, like the whole riff of how just Batman shows up whenever, and you never know when he's there and when he's not. Like that works as a conceit in comics or even animation, but when you translate it to live action, the logic kind of falls apart a little bit.
Right.
Like that's like. Again, it's like refrigerator logic, because if you're watching the movie, you're not thinking about it at all. This is 10 years worth of hindsight. Where you're
Exactly
like,
that. It's
was
exactly
he just standing there?
Yeah.
Isn't this great though? Oh my gosh,
Yeah, like
so-
Batman and Joker. Well, I did not even think about this. This is just like Heat.
Yep.
I did not occur to me till this viewing. It's the hero. I was gonna say I love when heroes and villains
The
meet
diner
in the
scene?
middle of the film,
Yep.
and that's exactly what happens in Heat. And it's literally them having a sit down and talking about their philosophies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, and what's so interesting is that the Joker has nailed Batman. Like, he knows him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this scene to me makes me think about how it's like a socially accepted fact that the Joker is Batman's arch enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like you come out the cradle, you're given your first bottle, and you're told, listen, the Batman's arch enemy is the Joker. Like, everyone knows it.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And I was like, why is that? Why do you think?
I think he is far and away the most interesting villain of Batman's, and maybe the most interesting superhero villain. For many reasons. You know, I mean, his look notwithstanding, right? I mean, but also just the chaos. Like, there's something inherently interesting / scary about him and unpredictable. And so it's like, it's always interesting seeing what he will do next.
Yeah.
Right. And then this scene is perfect too, because of the way that, you know, he's saying how we're not so different, you and I, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I think that just always makes for an interesting, you know, dynamic.
See, yeah, and I mean, I think if we think of Batman as somebody who's trying to bring order to the world, and the Joker being a living embodiment of chaos, we see why they play off each other so well.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And you know, it's like a great enemy is the one who tests your hero in a specific way.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And who tests your hero in terms of what the hero wants. And that's fascinating to me because I was thinking about this yesterday, right? I was like, okay, who's Superman's arch enemy, Brian?
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor. Okay, who's Iron Man's arch enemy? Yeah, see? Like, I would say the Mandarin from the comic.
Sure.
That's not the case in the movies, right? I mean, the movies, like, Captain America's arch enemy, basically, right?
Right.
Right? Who is Captain America's arch enemy? Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They all have great villains, right? But there's something about the duality, like the two sides of a coin, no pun intended, given this movie, of Batman and the Joker. How we just take, like, you got to have the Joker.
Yeah, and I mean, going back to, for me, it didn't start with comics. It started with the 66 show.
Even the 66 show, like,
Yeah.
every week Batman had a different villain, yet even then,
Yep.
We were like, yes, but the Joker.
Yeah. Yeah. Same.
Right? Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Speaking of the '66 show, they did an animated movie. It was Adam West's last time playing Batman.
Yeah,
where they had Two-Face, played by William Shatner.
I didn't watch that. Is that worth checking out?
Yeah, I would say check it out, Brian. You might
Okay.
enjoy it. It's fun.
I want my phone call.
So this shot here, not this one, but the close-up shot of him was the first the first teaser for The Dark Knight was what we saw. That was the first footage that we saw of Ledger's right here of his face, and that's like okay.
right. Yeah. By the way, this guy Star-Lords it up right here, huh?
He kind of does. That's like the thing. That's how we're going to refer to it.
Yeah, it always frustrates me this scene. I'm like, guy, just
if you would have just
man.
been patient.
Yeah.
But the Joker knew, man. The Joker knew what he was doing.
Now this is interesting too. I mean, this guy has an explosive in his stomach that blows up.
Yeah.
And this movie, I remember all the way back to '89. I remember like on a current affair, they're like, people think this Batman should be rated R, just because it was so intense and violent.
How funny
For a PG-13 film. And this movie
You're
is
like,
amazing
that's
what they
cute.
get away with. Right?
Yeah, I mean the spectrum has expanded substantially.
Yeah, and I mean, all this movie is
This
implication, too.
movie is like borderline R, right, Brian?
It really is, because it's and when you think of him Joker sticking the knife in that guy's mouth, and
Yes.
then it's like you
Yeah.
just see they cut to a reaction of someone, when he actually kills the guy, but it feels just as brutal and sort of like, ugh.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, it's pretty clever, and honestly, I don't want to see that. Like, I feel like it is worse through
Yes.
implication. So it's kind of amazing what Nolan was able to achieve with this film and a PG-13 rating, and not feeling like he compromised the intensity of it.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Worth mentioning, we just saw Aaron Eckhart like tip over and his face gets,
Yeah.
lubricated. And again, if you know what has to happen, you're like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like we're getting there,
Yeah.
And again, just drawing that parallel to Anakin Skywalker, like I wish there was more of a sense of tragedy there to mirror what we see here, because we've seen Harvey as the White Knight. I mean, they talk about him in that context, but I mean, he really is.
Yeah. By the way, yeah, this whole thing where the Joker does get this guy's goat, I mean, it's really well done. I mean, the way...
Well, and you were talking about, like, the side actors. I think this actor, his name is Keith Zarbachka, and he's playing Detective Stevens. I think he's really good in this.
Yeah, typically for what I was referring to is, like, usually it's, like, people
like
in crowds
the one-liners, the one-line actors.
Yeah, the one-line actors.
Yeah.
Like,
I really liked that guy, that
Yeah.
cop, Detective Stevens. I think...
But that whole escalation of that thing, talking about, I know your friends better than you do,
Yeah.
like, you want to know which ones were cowards? And then when you see the guy he went over the edge
Yep.
with him, and then you see Joker's sort of half smile, like, yep.
Ugh.
It's great.
I mean, when we look at, Nolan's whole approach, which was get it all in this. We really see that in this film, where we have multiple low points and multiple high points.
Yeah.
I mean, this movie, if this movie was its own trilogy, this is like the end of part 2 right here.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think the fact that we go through this whole a series of really effective. I mean, this moment right here when he's screaming, he's like, "Not me, not me!" It's so good, and it's so sad. Like she knows she's about to die.
Yeah, and the way that the explosion cuts off her message. Yeah,
it's just so tragic.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that would have been more effective had Rachel been played by the same person in both movies?
I am the type of person that does appreciate that sort of continuity.
Yeah.
However, no. I mean, then when she's introduced in this movie and they're like, "This is Rachel now," got it? Like, I roll with it, you know.
That's.
I mean, you? How about for you?
I'm with you. I think to me, I buy Maggie Gyllenhaal in the role more.
Yes.
And so it would be like, well, we would have to like retroactively insert her into Batman Begins, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
That scene there where we see Dent and his face is on fire. My kid was watching yesterday. He's like, "Wait, that's not how it happens."
Really?
Because he's seen like the cartoon show and stuff, and he, you know.
Did you like put your hand to the side of his face and say, "Truly, you are your father's son"?
Today you are a prince.
Awesome shot, by the way, of Joker with the mounted camera on the car and he
great.
sticks his head out.
Yeah, that's great.
This too is interesting. The Batman observing the aftermath.
Yeah.
I remember. I mean, this is a little closer to 9/11, and a lot of people saying that kind of evoked 9/11 imagery.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, you see, it's intercut with the first responders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, it's interesting because that's another moment where you could possibly be like, does he look silly there next to a fireman? But as we had said, I mean, this is sort of, he's still kind of in shadow, and I kind of like it.
Right. No. I think, yeah. I mean, even this, it works.
Yeah.
I think it's when he's completely in the light of day. It removes some of the mystery and almost the majesty of the costume.
Yeah. So, and then now, you know, with Alfred reading this letter where Rachel's effectively saying she'll never be with Bruce.
Yeah,
just all the stuff they fit into this movie. It's insane. I mean, it's amazing when you watch a movie and you feel like you've literally been away for a week.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I mean, it's a skill. Yeah,
no, I mean, that's, and to be honest, that's that's like one of the reasons I haven't revisited this movie as much, weirdly. Is because it represents such an emotional deep dive.
Yes.
Like, it's not a movie I feel like I can just toss on.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it sounds like I'm like, oh, it's because you you end up not watching it as much. But I mean in the sense of like it really like it envelops you. Mm-hmm. And that was the experience I had this week rewatching it for the first time in a while, the whole way through, and then I'd forgotten. I mean, just this moment right here when he's talking about, oh, you know, she was gonna be with me, and it's like, and we know it's like, oh, dude, like,
yeah, and Alfred tearing up the letter. So many great ideas in this movie.
Yeah, and I think Christian Bale. It's weird because I feel like there has been sort of almost a, you know, you die a hero, you live long enough to be the villain. Like there's been a turn I've seen where people are like, he actually wasn't that good. Christian Bale, and again, we can critique aspects of you know, like the voice stuff, obviously, but I think there's no doubt to me that he spent a lot of time living inside this character.
Oh yeah.
Playing it from the outside in, the inside out, excuse me. Mm-hmm. You know?
I want to just call out the part where he's like, hey, Alfred, how'd you catch that thief? And he's like, burn down the forest. And then there's this weird hard cut to Harvey Dent, his, let's suppose, face. I love cuts like that.
Oh, that's great.
Like, they throw you off.
It's well, and you know, he's the Harvey Dent is the ultimate victim. I mean, the Joker got what he wanted, which is to just wreck Harvey Dent. Yeah. And they withhold what Dent looks like now for a while. Like you could have seen them doing it in this sequence here with Gordon, but they don't.
Yeah, and by the way, we're an hour and 40 minutes into this movie, and we still haven't seen Two-Face, so to speak. But yeah, that makeup was intense.
And it's I mean, it looks like they did, it was digital.
That's what I mean. But his look, let's say.
That and that's one of those things where, again, if you actually think about it, you're like, well, you would be dead if your head looked like that.
Right.
Like, you would just be a mass of infected pustules, right?
I was gonna say you need to put a lot of Neosporin on that.
Yeah. It's interesting because they Gordon says in this, like, oh, you're in this scene here. He's like, you're refusing to accept skin grafts.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, it's very interesting because the movie doesn't delve into why is that?
Mm.
Why does Dent break so completely? You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you just don't have the time, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like, for example, in the animated show, they seeded in for a while that he was dealing with what we would call, I guess, dissociative identity disorder, DID.
Mm.
So he was dealing with multiple personalities, and then the accident happens, and it essentially just frees his dark side that had already been there.
Right.
Whereas here, like, what is it? What causes him to become a nihilist?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it, Rachel dying. I mean, that's the impetus, But that to me, I would have liked more of that. I would have loved. I guess what I'm saying is, I felt like the movie wasted one of the great villains.
Yeah.
In that
Too quickly.
Spent a whole. Yeah, I mean, like you said, we're an hour and 45 in. We've built up Harvey Dent, but then Two-Face is in the movie for what, another 10 minutes, maybe?
Right.
Total? That seems a shame. This scene is great. I love this. When Joker's like, yeah, I got my half. I'm going to burn it up.
Yeah. And by the way, he's burning that guy alive, which is
we don't talk about that.
Think about it. Like, they kind of just don't pay attention to it. Like, he's up there, and then they just don't really go back to a shot of him with the flames. But you're like, when you think about it, the implications, you're like, oh,
yeah, it's pretty graphic. That actor, I should mention, Richie Koster, who plays the Russian. He's like one of those great, dependable character actors. He can do whatever accent you want him to do.
Yeah.
He plays cops. He plays crooks. Plug and play.
Yeah.
And this movie is filled with. I mean, we didn't even mention Anthony Michael Hall here.
Yeah.
Who, like, I just love that Nolan just throws. I mean, he's Anthony Michael Hall. We know Anthony Michael Hall.
Yeah.
And he just throws him in, and it's not a nothing part. It's a featured, secondary role.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
It's the Breakfast Club guy. What do you think of that?
Yeah. And so he is noticeable, but I don't know. No one felt he was right for that guy.
So this moment right here, right, where what is Joker saying? He's like, this city's mine now, right? Mm. So when you think about it, if we look at the Batman mythology, this is the moment where Gotham essentially becomes supervillain Palooza.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the turn, right? Where that's what Joker says, right? This city needs a better class of criminal.
Yeah.
So this is where we. Yeah, right. And so the fact that movie 3 is essentially like, actually no. Like, no. That always irked me.
Yeah.
Right? Because I feel like if we're moving through, if this is a continuation of Batman Begins, this is Supervillains Begin.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't what Christopher Nolan wanted to do.
Yeah.
And as a result, I think the overall story he was telling suffers as a result. Mm-hmm. Because to me, it makes Batman, it makes his journey less effective to me.
Right.
I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I was just thinking, going back to something you said earlier, but so now we've got Reese, and he's about to out Batman on the air, and then it turns into this threat, right? Where...
I love this here. The Lamborghini then. The way he says it.
Much more subtle. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
But no, there's just so many episodes happening in this movie. Like, and that's what's great, because if this is the only time we're going to get with the Joker, we want to see as many of his crazy schemes as we can, and somehow this movie naturally fits all of them in.
You know what's funny is that you can see the 10-episode HBO season of this movie.
You know what? I've said this before. The Dark Knight Rises, to me, is a miniseries that's been cut within an inch of its life into a feature film. And this movie is a miniseries that has been cut expertly into a feature film, to me.
Wow. That is so apt.
Right?
That's perfect.
So...
I mean, the whole third act here is essentially the Joker's calculation of what human nature will allow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's this ideological dance between what Batman believes and what the Joker believes, right?
Yeah.
And I, it's funny because one thing people say, if you're looking at the dichotomy between Superman and Batman, right? Superman is what's waiting for you in the sun, and Batman is who's waiting for you in the shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Hope and fear, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yet this film posits that no, Batman is about hope.
Mm.
And the Joker is about fear.
And isn't that great? Instead of just Joker planting bombs everywhere and like go stop the bomb, sort of like Die Hard 3 or something. Like
he's planting emotional bombs.
Yes, and he's like, I'm going to get these people to turn on themselves.
Exactly.
You know,
we see it beautifully in this scene here in the car.
Yes.
With the police officer. I mean, look at the way it plays out, right? And I think look at the agency it gives Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because far too often Jim Gordon is like the guy who's sitting there waiting for Batman to do his job.
Yeah.
You know? But we had this great he's just like, son, just give me the gun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. And the cop is like, is it because I have somebody in the hospital? He's like, yeah.
Yeah. By the way, a few moments earlier when the bus pulled up in front of the hospital.
Wait, hold on, Brian, real quick. Look at this. He takes the mask off.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, what the hell? Who are you? He didn't recognize him without the mask on.
Yeah, we talked about that, yeah. The eye makeup and the white paint didn't do it.
To me, that's so funny. Like, it's clearly the Joker, whether he's got a mask on or not.
Yeah, that's so great, too, with him just like, hi.
It's so good. Anyway, sorry, you were saying the bus.
No, that was one of the few times we actually hear the Batman theme in this movie.
Yes.
And I've known this movie so well that as soon as I saw that imagery, I was like, oh, I can hear it in my head. Because it always feels like this, like something you've been waiting for, and then it finally pays off. This is something, by the way, I've seen pointed out recently, and I've never noticed it, where the Harvey Dent has the gun in his hand pointed at Joker, and they're saying Joker gives him choice, but he really has his finger blocking the hammer. So it's the illusion of choice, but he's not really giving it to him. Sort of what you said, where he says he doesn't make plans, but he really does.
Yeah.
I have never noticed that, so I'm going to look for it this time here.
How funny.
Yeah. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you heard that?
I've never heard that mentioned.
I think it comes up on Reddit a lot. There's always like an image of it, but I've never been able to really see where his finger is.
Well, I guess Reddit should be responsible for one decent thing at least. See, look at all these like multiple dramatic intersections that are playing out, because we got this bit here, and then we got Bruce Batmaning it up in his Lamborghini.
Yeah.
You know? And that's another great moment where we see how he's using the Bruce Wayne persona as a way to still be Batman.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
I love the Harvey Dent sticker, by the way, on the Joker. He's got the Harvey Dent.
That's so
Vote for Harvey Dent. Oh, and we should point out, too, by the way, since we're both from Illinois, the license plates of Gotham are the Illinois license plates.
Damn right they are.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think that's another reason I was disappointed in The Dark Knight Rises, now that I think about it, Brian. I was like, that's not Gotham.
Right. That's friggin' Pittsburgh.
They shot that in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Get your ass back to Chicago.
Yeah. That's funny. It does look great. I mean, it is recognizable as Chicago, but it also, I mean, to us, but it also does just feel like, I don't know, city.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's just because it's us, you know.
It could be.
You know, Patton Oswalt has this theory that he's brought up that the Joker is some kind of former military officer, specifically an interrogator.
Huh.
And I remember, I had heard that and I had that in my mind when I was rewatching this, and I was like, that kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the way he, like, even, the interrogation scene in where Batman's interrogating him, he's like, never go for the head. Like, right away he knows.
Yeah. I kind of like that. I like
disoriented.
having that in my... Yeah. Wait, okay, I'm trying to...
I think the only thing that would... Oh, this is what you're talking about? Right?
Yeah. Oh, he does have his finger there.
How funny.
Oh, wait.
No, he does, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Huh.
Well, there we
He
go.
is holding it. I like that. Can't believe I've never noticed that.
So the only thing that would potentially screw up Patton Oswalt's theory is that when he's in jail, when the Joker's in jail, they're like, there's no fingerprints on file. Which I'm assuming if you're in the military, you've been printed at some point.
Sure. Or if you've just handled a penny, that's how why they keep them in circulation.
Is that right?
No, that's from The Simpsons. I was like, let's do another deep dive Simpsons joke.
That's hilarious. Take your shot, whoever was waiting for the Simpsons reference. Yeah. I love this. How he's Bruce Wayne. He's just acting like he has no idea what's going on.
Yeah. Hospital. Like, you freak.
And he knows. Look at that. I love this. He knows he just saved his life. He knows Batman just saved my life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh, that whole little thread in this is so good.
This little dramatic tableau just played out in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Setup, conflict, climax, you know?
Yep. This is such a magnificent shot. This hospital blowing up and the Joker just waddling out in that nurse's outfit.
And wasn't like one of this bit like he actually like it didn't go off exactly as it was supposed to?
Yeah, I feel like I've read that, yeah. Which is like,
is that true or is that one of those?
That's like the fates.
It almost feels too perfect, like if he just made it up. Like,
yeah, his reaction is so perfect. And then the whole like throwing his arms up. But yeah, there you go.
No, I was just like, I mean, was that scripted to go that way, or was it? I don't know.
I don't know. But I read that this was one of the few uses of CG in the film where this was an abandoned candy factory in the suburbs somewhere.
Okay.
And so they're like, great, we can blow this thing up and use it for our film. And then between discovering it and it being the shooting day, some vandals had broken the top windows.
Oh no!
So they had to add digital windows to make it look like it was a completed building.
I thought you were going to be like some vandals had blown it up.
Yeah,
and they were like,
right.
So they digitally blew up a building.
And no one was like, bugger. And I also read a lot about with this thing blowing up and some of the other explosions that people were calling 911 a lot as this film was being made because they thought,
I believe it,
real deal stuff was going down. Which makes sense.
So as we sort of wind down to the climax, I mean, I think sort of the genius of it is that we have 2 climaxes remaining, but we're not even expecting the Two-Face story to culminate. So I mean, we're entirely focused on the Joker thing.
Yeah.
Now this bit here is really I love this. When Lucius goes down to R&D and you have that whole cell phone set up, right? Because we're now bumping up against the question of how much are we willing to let a hero get away with.
Yeah. And I remember because it's like on its face you have your answer. You're like, well, this is wrong, but you're like, I don't know, but it helps. Like it gives you conflict within yourself.
Yeah, and I mean this movie, when we look at historically when it came out,
yes.
I mean this was during the tail end of President Bush's era, and there's those questions of like we're living in a surveillance state, because of course now, Brian, we're not living in anything like a surveillance state.
No, as your Facebook has proven.
That's right, right. So the idea of like how many moral boundaries can we cross and still call ourselves good guys? I mean, I think that's a very effective. I think Batman, more than many superheroes, is a perfect avatar to have a conversation like that. And
with that, and we're talking about how the Joker isn't just planting bombs everywhere; he's being psychological with everyone. I mean, that's what this film is, and so I think it's worth mentioning now that this movie was nominated for 8 Oscars,
but not Best Picture.
And many people believe, because it used to just be 5 films nominated for Best Picture, and then following this year, it expanded to up to 10. And a lot of people think that had to do with this movie. And this also, that year, was nominated for Best Editing, and it was the only film not nominated for Best Picture that was nominated for Best Editing.
That's really
so it feels like it was right on the cusp, and they kind of didn't know what to do, but that's just how solid this movie is, that people couldn't believe it wasn't nominated for Best Picture. A Batman movie.
And it feels like if ever a superhero movie would have been nominated, it was this one.
Yes.
So that does feel like sort of an unforgivable oversight.
Yeah. And for all the reasons we're just talking about, like all the interesting ideas this movie posits.
Yeah, and like I said, I think certainly at the time this movie came out, I think now a lot of the Marvel characters have been sort of embraced into the bloodstream of the population.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, Batman was it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
In terms of the mass cultural penetration across wide demographic spectrum. So you could do a story like this and people could get the shorthand.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying?
No, totally.
You know? This is great. I mean, I think I love where Lucius is like, "I'll help you this one time." It's great. I think he is the conscience for the Batman side in the same way that Alfred is the conscience for the Bruce Wayne side.
Ah, yeah, very nice.
You know?
Yeah.
Like the two of them serve very different functions in Bruce's life.
Yeah.
You know?
Does Lucius come from anywhere?
Yeah, he was a character in the comics. He's from the comics.
Okay, see, I don't know.
However, the idea of him being Batman's Q, that was invented with the movies.
I see.
But he was, as far as I don't know about in the comics currently, but certainly at the time, he was a friend of Bruce Wayne's. He was a friend of Bruce's father, and he was a loyal, valued employee. But he didn't know that Bruce and Batman were the same guy.
I love that though, having him the head of R&D, and that's where, I mean, for this universe, and you want to explain away everything that Batman has, it makes total sense.
No, absolutely. You know, I think this whole the whole dimension they set up with the different ferries and the you know, you got the prisoners boat and the regular people boat. I mean, that's great because that's one of those moral quandaries where as you watch, you're like, what side of this divide would I be on?
Mm-hmm.
You know. Now I look at so good. That was, I think that shot right there. That was the first time I saw what Two-Face was going to look like in this movie.
Yeah.
But it does feel like they dialed it down a little bit, and they added more of like the burnt crust to make it not as like vomit inducing.
Yeah. Oh, you mean from the earlier images released?
Yeah, and one presumes whatever early, how they originally envisioned it.
Yeah. The crust helps.
Yeah, like it keeps you just this side of a PG-13, you know?
Yeah. I always feel bad for the guy's driver in the scene.
Yeah, well, it's that's blind fate, right?
Yeah.
The whole thing with Dent and the coin, they execute it really well in this, where he flipped the coin for Maroni's life, and fate said Maroni doesn't get shot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, in other words, the weird moral code that's tied in with the coin, it works, you know. There's a scene in Batman Forever with the Tommy Lee Jones Two-Face where he's in Wayne Manor. You probably remember this, and he's flipping the coin. Bruce Wayne is like fighting Two-Face's goons, and Two-Face flips the coin and it comes up clean. He flips the coin, it comes up, like he keeps flipping it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah. I remember. I can hear Tommy Lee Jones going, "Ah!"
Yeah,
it's not going his way.
And it's like, no. Yeah, once the coin has spoken, that's it.
Yeah.
Of course, that's like the least of that movie's problems. That'll be a fun commentary to do one of these days.
Yeah.
Batman Forever.
But yeah, speaking of a miniseries, I mean, this feels like another episode. Like we just had the episode where the guy was going to out Batman, and now we have another episode with these people on the ferry. And would you blow up the other boat? Yeah. And the other, one of the boats is innocent people, and one is proven convicts. You know, it's like this is a whole other episode. It's great, and I mean, again, it's this moral dilemma that you can wrap your arms around. Yep. There's Tiny Lister, by the way. Yeah. Zeus from No Holds Barred. From No Holds. That's what I remember from first. I'm sure he loves that. That's what he's like first associated with. I feel like it's either that or Debo from Friday. Yeah. Blame the year I was born. This guy's good, by the way. The guy they give on the civilian side. Yeah. I think he does a good job. The Weasley business guy. Fine, I'll do it. Such a great detonator too for the props department. Like it's just this like cobbled
Something
together.
the Joker would come up with.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I will never forget seeing this scene for the first time in the theater and just being like dopey. Like I wouldn't even say grin, like open mouth, like what is going to happen?
Yeah, and the fact that we're seeing this very specific moral dilemma play out within the confines of a superhero movie.
Yep.
You know, I feel like I can't emphasize that point enough. It was unprecedented.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, again, when we look at the long view of what the legacy of the Dark Knight is, it's funny because I mean, you can point to like the DC movies and say that they've superficially tried to take on the trappings of the Dark Knight, arguably, but I would argue, and this might be controversial, that even though people point to the MCU as being the light and frilly version of a superhero universe, I think the MCU owes more to Nolan than the DCEU does.
How so?
In the sense that the MCU starts from a place of let's try to play it as realistically as possible. Mm-hmm. They have room for more flights of fancy, and obviously as the universe has expanded, it's moved further outward. But it started from a place not of let's be grim and gritty.
Right.
It started from a place of let's play it from a place of realistic situations and realistic reactions. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's the mistake too many people made after this film was like, oh, grim and gritty, got it.
Right.
You know, and I wouldn't even call this movie grim and gritty. I just call it's just aiming for realism. You know, and
right.
Everyone just sort of missed the message or misinterpreted it.
That's right. I mean, the fact that, again, I said this earlier, the fact that Nolan was like, I want to do what Dick Donner did. I mean, that tells you everything.
Yeah.
Right? Donner's whole thing was think verisimilitude, and that's been the approach for this and the majority of the Marvel films.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know. So again, I feel like I'm like walking into a buzzsaw by saying that, but I truly do believe that.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Ugh, so horrifying. Look at
That face.
It really, like, if you stop and look at it for too long, you're like, ugh.
Yeah.
But I also love that the conceit in the comics is that half of Two-Face's suit looks like this, half of it looks like that. I love that he's wearing his burnt up shitty suit.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, where it turns purple for some reason in the Batman Forever.
In Batman Forever, yeah.
But in this one, yeah, it's still the same idea, but just a little more realistic version of it.
Yeah, which, I mean, when you think about it, I mean, what is that? The Joker is the same thing, right? It's like you end up at the same place, but you get there in a completely different way, where rather than him being dunked in various chemicals and whatever, it's just, no, he's just a crazy guy who puts on makeup. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You know, it's funny though, because I remember after this movie came out, people started like in their minds doing the next Nolan Batman villain. Like, oh, we should have the Riddler, and he's like the guy from Seven, or you know, and I remember at the time being like, this is before Dark Knight Rises. I was like, see, you're taking it down this road where it's becoming a cliche.
Yes.
You know, which is why I say that to me, the Dark Knight, in my mind, maxed out this approach. Mm-hmm. Because everything after, to me, started calling attention to, the seams.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You know, because in this movie, there are no seams. Mm-hmm. You know. Now, this whole sequence should have been just nonsense.
Yeah, like, where he's using the sonar.
Yeah, we're seeing Batman's sonar POV, and then we're cutting back and forth. I mean, it should not have been as clear.
Yeah, but yeah,
it's
totally,
remarkably easy to follow.
And it is disorienting.
Yes,
but it is. You're able to follow it just enough.
Right.
I love it too, where he's like, "Oh, there's people above me," and then he takes the ground out from beneath them.
It's great. It's funny because I was watching this, finishing up this morning with my kids just before I got on with you, and my younger one was like, I don't know, why is Batman fighting the SWAT team? But my 11-year-old, he got it. He's like, well, because the hostages are actually the clowns, you know, and he figured it all out. So I'm like, okay, well, if an 11-year-old can track with this,
yeah, it's
my
great.
kid was like, look, clearly that's the guy from Breakfast Club, and he's not a bad guy.
Right. That's funny. Yeah. And that's just a whole other like great conceit on top of other great conceits, like having the hostages be dressed as the villains behind masks. And
Yeah, I mean, you look at it in terms of narrative construction. It's like, how do we make our hero's job as hard as possible? Mm-hmm. Right? So it's like he's got this ticking clock here. He's got to stop the Joker before midnight so that you know, and then. But what are the obstacles we can place in his way to make that goal as difficult as possible?
Mm-hmm. And this whole elaborate takedown that he does here with with his weapons and whatnot and his cables, for the realism of this movie, I feel like it totally stays in line. Like it's crazy and not possible in real life, but like they make you buy it within the reality of this world.
Yes,
you know.
No, I totally agree.
Leaping from level to level, and the cable attached to like 3 people, taking them all out at once. It's great.
It's really, really effective. Yeah.
Yeah. And this whole thing too, I'll get a little bit ahead just because. But on the ferry, I love when they, no one decides to blow the other up.
Yes.
And it's just this thing that like confounds the Joker, which I love.
Right.
His whole theory about humanity is like, is busted. And I think I've said this on the show, but I always get emotional when I see people helping each other in movies, like groups of people working together. And I remember feeling emotional watching this, like, people can be better. It's really effective on so many levels. Not just like a relief, but also like, I can believe in people, like people can be good.
Well, I mean, the moment that we have coming up where Debo grabs where Tiny Lister grabs the detonator.
Yeah.
I feel like that's actually that's kind of interesting by itself, because I wonder if they cast Tiny Lister because he's a big scary black guy.
Yes.
Or because he's a big dignified black guy.
Huh. Interesting.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what was the calculus in having... Because you have that moment where he's like, tell him I took it from you. I'm going to do what you should have did. Like, do they want the audience to be like, yeah, he's going to do the right thing? Or to be like, no, don't give it to him.
Right. Yeah. I had never thought about that. I think I probably felt that, but I'd never really thought about it. But yeah, that's really probably calculated and effective.
It is. I mean, again, you talk about applause moments. When he throws the detonator out the window, big applause.
Yeah. Man.
And again, my kid, my 9-year-old, he throws the thing out and he's like, wait, why'd he throw it away? It's not going to work now.
Really?
Yeah. See, there's Chekhov's dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. You're right. That's funny. But yeah, I don't know, the way that all we've been through and this whole climax, well, this isn't the climax, but this all we're experiencing right here, and all the action and the emotional action is just it just feels like this should be where we wind down.
Yeah, right, exactly. And yet there's a whole other act.
Yeah, the fourth act of this movie.
Yeah, right here. I mean, look at that. Like, I'm curious what the calculus was. Like, what were they expecting us to think about his character right here?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, well, he was against Hulk Hogan. He can't be a good guy.
Right. It's so good. No, we're just enjoying this.
I think Brian, casting a black man, there's a thought that went into that.
I agree.
And I feel like are they playing on people's prejudices, or
Yeah, and then you've got this sort of uppity, upper class looking white guy on the other side.
Yeah.
Who says I'll do it. But But then he can't, which is nice because then you realize these two sort of extreme looks of people, they do come to the same conclusion.
Sure.
Which is nice.
It's just funny with that white businessman. You're like, you loser, why are you doing that? And then he doesn't do it. You're like, you loser, you don't have the guts to do it.
You don't have the plums. That's really funny. We just don't like that guy.
Right.
No, but he's great.
Either way.
Yeah, here you go, yeah.
I mean, he projects like dignity.
Yeah.
You know.
And it's so obvious to him, this choice, even though you as an audience don't know what it's going to be yet.
Right.
He's like, what's the
in
matter
hindsight,
with
you're
you?
like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course he was. And that was an applause moment.
Yeah.
It'd be funny after. He's like, what was his, like, what's his backstory? It's like, oh, he killed a bunch of people and wore their skin. So, like, oh, I'm glad they left that out then.
The movie was already too long, and we didn't feel the need.
That's a great Joker moment right there. Here we go.
Yeah.
Now, again, in movie terms, powerful moment. It's proving out Bruce's belief in people's decency.
Mm-hmm.
Right? In the real world, do you think this would happen? Because in the real world, to me, before the Joker finishes saying his message, both ships blow up.
He's like, here's my plan. You know,
Yeah.
we're going to put people's morals to the...
That, to me, is what happens in the real world. Now, here's something funny right here. So, this bit right here, where you're trying to prove that deep down everyone's as ugly as you. So, my friend Rick Shue, who hosts the Batman on Film podcast, he was talking about how Election Day of 2016, he had that clip ready to post when Donald Trump lost.
Right.
And literally, he's like, oh, okay, well, never mind.
And he had to close the QuickTime file.
But here's the funny thing, because I think we talk about perspective. It's like, so I look at this, and I would assume you too. You're like, oh, well, clearly Donald Trump is like the Joker.
Right.
He's just chaos, and I'm just going to, mess things up. But yet you've got the Trump loyalists who are like, no, Trump is Batman.
Right.
He's, you know what I mean? And so you talk about just how perspective varies from person to person,
Yeah. I love this moment
this
too,
here.
by the way, when the things
We're
don't
gonna
go
say
to
the same
the Joker's way. And he goes,
Yeah.
it's a funny world we live in. Anyway, you want to know how I got these scars? And you're like, oh, he's out. He's out of ideas.
He's like,
You know?
it's crazy.
Yeah. Like, he's like, I got to carry on with this thing I'm doing. My thing didn't work. And so he kind of reverts back. I've never thought about
Yeah.
it till this time, but like he reverts
That's
back
really,
to like
and I just love it. I know how you got these, though.
Yeah.
But this here, where Joker is dangling and the camera just slowly puts him right side up in the frame. And it makes this whole, like the way he's like kind of swaying, even though he's positioned properly, it adds this weird otherworldliness to him.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Good. Yeah.
Dreamlike. His hair is, like, it's weird. It looks weird.
I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, you're framing him the same way that Batman is framed, but yeah, it gives off an incorrect feeling.
Exactly. Now, this moment here, where Batman's like, this city proved to you the people are good. That's watching this for the first time. I was like, okay.
I would say that this part. Yeah, I don't understand why he sounds so slurred, like he just took some sleep medicine or something.
Yeah.
But this is the only time when he sounds like that.
Right. So to me, the fact that we're 2:15 into the movie, and that's really the first time where I'm like, yeah.
Yes.
I guess we can file that in the win column.
Yes.
Yeah. But Brian, when you think about it, you could have ended the movie here.
I kind of wish they had.
Almost, right?
Yeah.
Some kind of wrap up, because it feels like, okay, now we got, 10 minutes to quickly wrap up the Harvey Dent story.
Yes, and you're out of energy. And I think when I do watch this on TV, I think I do typically turn at this point.
Interesting.
'Cause I'm kind of done. I'll
tell you though, this sequence here, if nothing else, allows Gary Oldman to really have his peak of a performance in this film, I think.
No, totally agree. And it's not that it's not a good moment.
No.
It's just we're a little emotionally exhausted, and
Yes.
but I do like where it gets us, which is Batman on the run, assuming
Yes.
the blame for Harvey's crimes and whatnot, or sins, or whatever you want to call it.
It's funny, this is random, but the woman who plays Gordon's wife, that's Melinda McGraw. And I remember her from a show called The Commish
Ha! I remember that.
with Michael Chiklis. She was like his second in command.
Oh, funny. I don't think I've ever seen that show, but I remember the
really?
ads where it's like he's a cop, but he's like eating a sandwich at midnight.
He's kind of pudgy.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I used to love that show. I haven't seen it, since the 90s, but
Yeah.
see, like, I get Harvey's disillusionment, but I feel like the fact that he goes from like white to black,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of his morality, I wish we could have gotten a little more lead into that. Like give us an on ramp for why that would happen.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it'd be sort of interesting then if he either turned at the end, or it was a tease of it, or he turns at the beginning of the next one, and then he's the guy that holds Gotham hostage in Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
Instead of Bane.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I almost feel like one approach I would have taken is we don't see Harvey in his Two-Face form at all in this movie, and maybe as like a pre-credit, or this is like in a post-MCU world, it would be like a mid-credit scene
Yeah.
where it's that cop and he's like, "Dent, I thought you were dead," and he's just like half.
Yeah,
And then
yeah. I mean, I can't imagine Nolan doing that, but that would be
no way.
perfect.
That's not a Nolan movie.
Yeah. But
Right?
no, that'd be a great stinger.
It would, right?
And by the way, when I brought up him being the villain in the third film, as soon as I said it, I was like, no. Like, I like it better that Gotham never sees him this way.
That's the thing. I mean, if we follow the thread of the quote unquote realistic world,
Yes.
then it's too much, right? Because what the movie exposits is exactly true, that everything Dent did would be undone and stuff, and it would fly in the face of the idea of there is a light at the end of all this,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then it comes into clearer focus what Nolan was trying to say,
Yeah.
which is that Batman is a job with an expiration date.
Mm-hmm.
I would argue that expiration date should be just something we never see,
Yeah, sure.
and so that goes into my qualms about the third one, which again, I'm not going to get into here, Brian.
Right. Yeah, clearly we're going to have a lot to say about the third film.
When we get there.
Yeah.
We still got to do Batman Begins. We've never done that.
I was trying to remember if we had. I couldn't recall.
We have not.
Yeah. Ugh, that like bone on his chin.
It's so gross. It's funny. I talked about Rick Shu earlier. He's mentioned before how this kid's performance just bugs the crap out of him.
How so?
I don't know. He said he's like the Jake Lloyd of these movies, and I'm like, well,
Oh, interesting.
let's not say things we can't take back now.
I always found it kind of disturbing, like all this psychological damage this would be doing to this poor kid. Like seeing Batman shot and his
Oh,
gun
sure.
held
Like,
to his
are you
parents.
saying as an actor on a set?
or just within this world is what I mean.
Sure.
I mean, I imagine they're laughing between takes and stuff, but yeah, I remember watching this and feeling sort of disturbed for this kid.
Yeah, I mean, well, and clearly that's Harvey's intent, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what makes him somebody who needs to be stopped in this, right? If he's at a point where he's threatening a child, clearly Harvey is too far gone,
Yeah,
right? There's no coming back from that.
right.
Now, that being said, Harvey Dent is now dead.
Yes.
And the movie, it just kind of, it's like, oh, he's dead now. And we're like, okay.
Yeah. We get no shot sealing that for us.
Yeah, like, I don't know what they could have done, but it feels like, I mean, like the scene that we just saw where we see Batman fall kind of shows you how far he fell.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes it a little more clear. But I feel like Harvey Dent dying, given what the movie... Forget his prominence in, like, the mythology. In the movie, he deserved a death that drew attention to the fact that it was a death.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Does that make sense?
I mean, it was enough for audiences to wonder if he was coming back.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a nice moment here where Batman like turns his face over. Like this is who Gotham needs.
Mm-hmm.
Not Skeleton McGee.
Yeah. I love this whole. This is a brilliant ending. This whole.
It really is, and it's so effective because we talked about how Nolan took it a movie at a time. And so, with that in mind, and I remember I said this the moment I walked out of the theater. I remember two things about watching The Dark Knight opening. I went in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I went with my brother, and as soon as I got out of the theater, I texted you.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can't wait for you to see this. Right? But the other thought I had as soon as I walked out of the theater was, don't even make another one.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if they never made another Batman movie again, I would be just fine with it.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, they're chasing after him, and whatever, he figures it out. And eventually he clears his name, and he's Batman.
Right.
Why? Because he's Batman. I was like, there's nowhere to go but down. And unfortunately, to my mind, that's what I felt was borne out by the third one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And not just purely in narrative terms, but it felt a little saggy,
Yeah. But this is like the perfect for all time Batman monologue. I'm whatever Gotham needs me to be.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The thesis is he's not the hero we deserve. He's the hero we need.
Yeah.
He is Silent Protector, Watchful Guardian, Dark Knight. Cut to black. If we never see another Batman movie again, hey, that's fine with me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is a nice bit here where Alfred burns the letter. And again, see, to me, I would have just as soon never referred to that again.
Yeah.
Now this here, right, the whole bit with the various, the sonar scanning thing, Batman is like, when you're done, type in your name.
Mm-hmm.
And the payoff is that everything gets destroyed. And I was just thinking it'd be funny if Batman programmed it without realizing how Lucius's name is spelled. He programs it for like Lucius Fox.
Like,
so he types his name and nothing happens. He's like, well, screw this, and he quits.
Yeah. Or he knows, and then he misspells his own name, and he's like, idiot.
That'd be funny too. Like the whole thing, it would be funny, like how Lando calls Han.
Yeah.
He calls him Han.
Yeah.
He calls him Luscious, even though his name is Lucius.
Yeah.
Types in Lucius, like no words, and then he like backspace Luscious.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, he's just.
But yeah, look at this.
Man. He's like going through the, what do you call it? The train yard or I don't know what you call those things. Boxcar.
Like a freight yard.
Freight yard. And then this last shot is fantastic with him on the bike, and it just cuts to black.
So good. Such a good Jim Gordon. Such a good Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Such a good Batman movie.
This movie's a masterpiece.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, we can quibble as we did a few moments.
No film is perfect.
No,
yeah.
but I mean, I use the word apotheosis. I mean, I think to me, The Dark Knight is the apotheosis of the superhero genre. It's what you can achieve if you play it straight down the middle.
Yeah, and now that I know what that word means, I completely agree.
I need you to say it now once a day.
Apotheosis.
Yeah.
Apotheosis. I'm going to be like Arby's. I'm going to be like, this beef and cheddar was the apotheosis of...
Okay. So 10 years later, Brian, what do you think is the ultimate legacy of The Dark Knight?
Well, like we were saying earlier, I mean, this was an event, and events don't happen super often where the whole world is like in on one thing. And I remember that was the case with this. And we can see the influence through the score, through the tone of the film and whatnot. And so looking at this movie now with that in mind and having lived through it, and then 10 years later, I wondered if this movie would diminish at all, as that can happen with those sorts of films.
I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah, and I would say not one bit, honestly.
I totally agree.
I mean, the same things, that we raised questions back then, and they still raise questions now. We're like, maybe this, maybe that. Even the voice, like those sorts of things. But no, man, this movie. And then even with it ending, the title, because we keep talking about Dark Knight, White Knight, and then him be like, no, this is who Batman is. And then it cuts to black and just says, The Dark Knight. It's even the title reveal is brilliant because the whole movie's been building to that. Yeah. So I think this movie completely stands where it did for us 10 years ago, 10 years later. It's
to me, there will never not be Batman movies.
Yes.
And that's just fine. I think that it'll be hard to top creatively what this movie achieved.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that there aren't movies that we like or will like more or less or whatever. But I mean, there is, I've said before, there's an elasticity for how many different ways you can portray Batman and still have him be fundamentally Batman. You can look at Adam West, and at no point, at least for me, and I'm assuming for you too, at no point are you like, well, that's not Batman.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You're like, that's entirely Batman.
Uh-huh.
And yet you can play that all the way out, and then you look at what the Dark Knight can do. It strips away all of these fanciful elements, and you still end up with what I would call a primal, iconic version of how to depict this character.
Mm-hmm.
And I say that very specifically about the Dark Knight, the film, as opposed to, in the broader sense, the trilogy.
Sure.
Again, that's not meant as me criticizing the trilogy, but it is acknowledging the singular effectiveness of this one chapter.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree.
It's a great film, and I got to say, I'm glad I got to spend the last 2.5 hours going through it with you. I could not have thought of a better way to spend this Saturday morning, marking the 10th anniversary of this movie.
Completely agree. I always wonder when we sit down for these things, like, so are we gonna have enough to say? And then, I mean, here, easily 2.5 hours.
We could have talked for another 20 minutes.
I still have more things written down that we didn't even get to.
Well, is there anything we didn't mention that you think is worth bringing to our audience attention?
I mean, I think we covered most of it. I had a lot of, I don't know, like IMAX thoughts about this, which I thought were, like, this is the first movie where I remember it was, even my parents, like, went out of their way to go see this at an IMAX theater because you knew. Like they... Yeah. I think that's what's interesting about Christopher Nolan is, he's such like a film evangelist.
Yes.
And I like, there was that huge push for 3D, and I prefer IMAX, and I really like what Nolan was aiming for with this and what he's continued to do through Dunkirk at this point. But I'll never forget, like, I went to a theater I never go to that cost tons more money, but I'll never forget that sequence at Lower Wacker, seeing that as big as my vision is, and I think that, I'm sure, played a part in, I mean, you don't need that, obviously, for this movie to be good, but I just remember, just on all cylinders, how this movie was pulling me in when I watched it all those years ago. And as it was ending right here, I was sort of I was longing for another experience like that, honestly.
Feels like it's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap up this conversation. I think, to me anyway, it makes me wonder what Batman's next on-screen incarnation is going to look like.
I don't know. And if we've talked about this, but if anything, I mean, it definitely has to be distinct. When you just sort of throw him in there and he's dark and grim and gritty, it doesn't always just work for having those things. I mean, there's got to be a vision to it. There's got to be an idea. And
there's no doubting that Christopher Nolan was all about a vision and being true to that vision, and that was borne out in a lot of different ways. So I'm hoping Matt Reeves will do something exceptional.
Yeah.
Assuming he still makes the movie, whenever it eventually happens.
I hope so. I mean, putting it in the hands of someone who clearly has visions, You know, like I'd be curious to see what his is for this.
Well, there we go. And with that in mind, we'll bring the curtain down on this movie film commentary track, but we have plenty more coming.
Yeah.
So lots of stuff planned, but if you do have any questions or comments about anything we said here, we would love to hear them. So please email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. That's moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. Let me say that without slurring, a la Christian Bale's Batman. What you need to do is email us at moviefilmpodcast.
The guy's like, what? At least it's just like, I wanted to.
Or hit like on our Facebook page, facebook.com/moviefilmpodcast. You can also find me at my website, zackiscorner.com. That's ZAKIS Corner. That's also my Twitter. That's also my Instagram, so I would love to hear from you. And, of course, Brian's work can be found on the equally dark animated series Puppy Dog Pals, which is not dark at all. It's lovely, and it's for kids and families, so don't take what I said. Watch the show. It's great. And we will be back soon with our next regular episode as well as our next commentary track. So until next time, on behalf of my partner, Brian Hall, the Jim Gordon of this whole thing. Or I'm the Jim Gordon. Brian's the Batman, really, just to be fair. But either way, we shared it. We tag in and out.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. And we will be back soon. And thank you, everybody, for listening.